body's starting to fill out. But how he plays with the confidence lets me know he's really put in the work in the offseason each year to get where he is today.
You know what's kind of crazy, and I think sometimes we overlook, is the pressure that he had coming over. Not only is he got all this pressure, he comes to a different country, different language, and I know he knows English, but still at the same time, it's very different, the culture of living in America compared to France.
It is, and I think you guys know this. I said there's only one place he can go, maybe two, is the San Antonio Spurs.
Right.
And it was perfect because they will make sure everything is done right. Same thing for Tony Parker, same thing with Manu Ginobili. He wasn't playing a lot of minutes when he first last year with Pop, and probably playing more than Pop wants now, but Pop hasn't been there. And the evolution is 3D. 33% of his field goals was from three last year. 48% of his field goal attempts now from three. So half his shots is pretty much at the three-point line, and it still looks like he's still developing more at both ends.
Man, I want to take the conversation we had before we come on here about when you're playing overseas, you're not sure where you are as a youngster because you're playing against grown men. Where we here in America, we go to college, you might go mid-major, you might even go JUCO, but you have a kind of a barometer where you are. Can you kind of share with that, kind of what Wemby and what kind of Tony Parker was sharing?
Yeah, I think when you look at it, we measure, I can say there's 3D. And all the way from youth in AAU.
Yep.
There's Penny Hardaway, guys my size. And I might get a chance to play with them, or I might be in the gym with them, get a chance to see them live. They don't get a chance to measure up of all the guys over here in the States. So they'll get a chance to play. And Tony said he was 17 playing against guys 35, which I did that in,
pickup game, going to the park, going to the gym, right?
And so then they have a different look at it. Sometimes we look at their numbers. 3D said it, they average like 7. But that's like 15 if you were over here playing against somebody your same age. So it's an advantage and it's a disadvantage at times.
It was a few weeks ago where Wemby passed 99 career games, and there was a stat that came out. Through 99 games, he had more points than LeBron James in LeBron's first 99. He had more blocks than Hakeem had in his first 99, and more made threes than Steph Curry in his first 99.
That's the one got me. That Steph Curry got me. Not that LeBron and all that. That's doable, but that Steph
7'3".
I'd have never thought that for sure. But the one thing is, he might be, rest in peace, my teammate. He could end up averaging 4 blocks.
I agree.
Kembe Mutombo, I think, was the only other guy to average 4 blocks for a season.
Yeah, I said the other day it could possibly be 7 because of the effort in each game we watched. Like the other night, I think he had 7 at halftime of one game. He already had 10 in a back-to-back game. So it's coming, Smitty. There's more confidence that he has on that defensive end of the floor, and he's able to roam and figure out, how do I test the defensive illegal, or should I say illegal defense? I think he can get to 5 or 6 minutes.
And what's crazy about Victor, again, is he is so focused on being great.
Yes.
At such a young age, right? We're seeing all these stories about how he goes to sleep early. He's got the whole schedule. He wants to be great. And if he can stay healthy, I mean, who knows where those numbers goes and what he could be in his prime.
Well, to your point, Nabil, everything that we've seen so far, pre-game, post-game, who he's hired, his nutritionist, everything that he's stolen from Tom Brady or Chris Paul or LeBron or wherever it may be, he's doing all the right things. And I think the Spurs, for the most part, you know how the Spurs are. Sometimes they put this bubble around him, don't let us get close to him. But we know he's trying to do the right things.
I think we've all raved about Steph Curry's pregame rituals because of shot making. I'm raving about this guy's pregame rituals. He kept leaning against the wall, about the back stanchion. I'm like, what is he doing? He's just leaning and leaning. It's something to see, and I think for young guys who are out there, not saying you can emulate it, but just look at what he's doing each and every day for his pregame ritual. Google that, because I've been watching that.
Yes.
It's a little different, 3D.
It is.
It's a little different.
To your point, find your routine that gets your body prepared to play at a high level, like we see some of our greats
He's juggling pregame, too.
He's juggling,
And then reading. I mean, he's doing everything.
Yeah. Everything. Walking on the tennis ball, like all the stuff, all the small things that you wouldn't think would work for a basketball player, he's doing.
Right. And when you look at his team and the success that they've had, he has already said he's been frustrated this year with some of the games that they've given up. They come into this one 19-22. They're 2 games out of 10. I don't think a lot of people want to see him in this place.
He's putting more pressure, I said this the other day, than what Tatum and Brown put on the Celtics about, okay, they brought in Kyrie, they got rid of. The Spurs have pressure on them to bring in right now. Why wait? The talent is
you got Zion Williams.
Ooh, boy. Oh, my God. Boy, you shaking things.
I don't know how they're going to do it. But pull it
out. That combination would be
What you think, Nabil?
That would be fun to watch.
And then the next one, I think, is Darren Fox. I'm going Zion first.
All right.
We are going to talk much more about these two teams, but first, Adam Silver at the podium. Let's hear from the Commission Paris.
Thank you all for being here. The Paris Games 2025 presented by TISO. We're going to start with some remarks from Commissioner Silver. Adam?
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you all very much for being here. First of all, it's my first time being back in France since the Olympics this summer, which were an absolute huge success. I also had an opportunity to spend time in Lille where the group stage took place. I think between the games that took place, men's and women's in Lille, and those games here in Paris, the IOC and the organizing committee sold over 1 million tickets for basketball, which was quite spectacular. Of course, my country ended up getting the gold medal in both the men's and women's games, but those games against France were created enormous amount of energy in this city. Record ratings in France. We had something like a 50 share of the audience for both games, and huge ratings back in the United States as well. I mean, in addition, we had 3-on-3 competition at Place de Concorde for the second time. Those launched first at the Tokyo Olympics. So from our standpoint, just a fantastic showing for the sport of basketball in Paris and throughout France. Now for this opportunity this week, of course, it's a thrill to be back here with these two teams in Paris. It's actually the first time we've ever played two games in the same city during our regular season. Our teams are enjoying their time here. One of the benefits of playing two games is it gives our teams an opportunity to experience more of the city, something we've generally only been able to do historically when we played preseason in friendlies. But in this case, both teams are really enjoying being here. I know Victor has had the opportunity to take his teammates and show them and some of the fine points of Paris and great food and sightseeing and shopping. Same with the Indiana Pacers. They've enjoyed that as well. I'll also say in terms of the popularity of these games, even though it was two games this time, they both sold out within 24 hours. And we know from the ticketing services we used that included fans from 53 separate countries that bought tickets to these games. So we've said this before, but these games become somewhat like a European All-Star for us. It's an opportunity for fans to mark their calendars and know months in advance where they can come to a huge gathering of NBA supporters. This week we've had the opportunity to have an NBA week, an NBA house, an NBA Paris Jam. So that includes activities for fans, clinics for children, of course, boys and girls. By the way, Sabrina Ionescu, who's on the championship New York Liberty, is here with us as well. So we have the WNBA represented, and it's great to hear too. In many of the meetings I've had this week, many of our partners and potential partners have expressed strong interest in the growing women's game. So that's something we're also focused on. A few words about Victor Wembanyama. There's no doubt he's a very special player and enjoys tremendous popularity here in Paris and throughout France. I'll say that popularity is now being shared with fans around the world. At this point, he's already the third most followed player on social media in the world, and he's the fifth in jersey sales on our global statistics. So it's quite remarkable. I've been talking to a few people about a moment he had when he was in New York. He played the Knicks on Christmas Day, and then he played the Brooklyn Nets a few days later. So he spent some time in New York. And Victor, who plays chess, went down to a famous park in New York City, Washington Square Park, and brought his chessboard and just began playing a few games. And within a few days, something like 100 million people had seen that on social media. So it just speaks to the popularity of Victor and the dramatic interest we're seeing in players' lifestyles and their interest and everything they enjoy doing. So that was remarkable. The two teams that are here, the Pacers and the Spurs, both have their team owners with them. In the case of the San Antonio Spurs, they're represented by Peter John Holt, who is part of the Holt family that's been the longtime owners of the San Antonio Spurs. Thrilled to have him, members of his family, and other members of their ownership group here too, supporting the franchise. And they brought a large traveling party with them. Same for the Indiana Pacers. Herb Simon happens to be the longest standing owner in the NBA, has owned that club for over 40 years now. He's here in Paris with us, also brought a large traveling party. And I know I've had the opportunity to spend time with them, and they're enjoying very much their opportunity to spend some time here in Paris, as are their teams. And I'd also say, speaking of the players, of course, we have a tremendous number of international players in this league. It's, well, roughly 30% of our players representing, at least on opening day, 43 different countries. So there's much more of a global sense around our teams, and a desire to experience new countries and new locations. And I'd say, thinking about my time over the many years with the league, it's really wonderful to see these teams and their coaches really embrace the opportunity to experience these great cities. And so players, learn from each other, get around the community, just like the Spurs can learn from Victor, other international players on this trip. But, there's also another French player too on the San Antonio Spurs. So it's quite exciting for these teams, and coming with that is a great bonding experience as well for them. Just the time they spend with each other here, the time away from home, I think turns out to be very impactful. So our teams are really embracing this kind of trip, this sort of trip. So it's great to see. Lastly, I just want to say before I take questions, speaking of the San Antonio Spurs, they were a pioneer around the international game, as you all well know. They were scouting internationally in a deep way long before many other teams, and those efforts were led by R.C. Buford, who is here with us now, but also Coach Greg Popovich. And I just want to say we very miss not having him here with us today, and on behalf of everyone at the league office, wish him a speedy recovery. With that, Amanda, happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Adam. Now we'll start the media Q&A. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll bring a microphone over to you. And please state your name and affiliation before asking a question. First question is going to be all the way back on the left, last row, three people in.
Good evening, Mr. Silver. Sami Sadiq for the French newspaper L'Equipe. Thank you for your time. We've heard many rumors about the NBA's plans in Europe, maybe to launch something, maybe not this season, maybe next season, or the one after that. Do you have already an agreement maybe with FIBA to create something? And what do you make of the EuroLeague's decision to re-sign with their partner IMG? Does that put an end to the discussions between the NBA and them, and is like a clash inevitable in the future? Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you for the question. I won't speak specifically on the IMG relationship with EuroLeague, other than to say I know the IMG folks very well, and they are an excellent marketing company, and we've been partners in the past with the EuroLeague and are close with many of their clubs, and are appreciative of the effort that's gone into growing basketball throughout Europe. I'd say from the NBA standpoint, we continue to explore what opportunities may exist to help continue to develop the basketball infrastructure here. We have, in the past, I've talked about our exploration of potential league here. I'd say to the extent we're looking at that opportunity, it would just be one piece of a larger approach to basketball throughout Europe. I mean, anything we do would include a partnership with FIBA, although there are no agreements in place right now. We're still in exploratory stage, but I would say anything we've done globally has been with FIBA as our partner, as, for example, the league that we're operating in Africa right now. But we've used this opportunity here over the last few days. Mark Tatum, the deputy commissioner, is here, who oversees international, to have meetings with many different stakeholders. And those stakeholders include leaders of clubs, it includes FIBA, it includes media companies, traditional sports sponsors, just to best understand the landscape here and to see what the opportunity may be. So, as I said, we have no agreements in place. We're not ready to make any additional announcements, and we'll continue to learn all we can and to see if there is a path to move forward. I'll just say I joined the NBA right before Famous Dream Team, in 1992 and have been closely watching the development of European basketball over those many years. And Europe continues to develop some of the very best players in the world. Many of our most recent MVPs, of course, are European. We think that the commercial opportunity has not kept pace with the growth of the game. And what we do at the NBA is we run leagues. We, of course, run the WNBA. We have the league in Africa I mentioned. We have the G League. We have a 2K video league. So we operate 5 different leagues. And we think it's an expertise we have. And so we are looking very closely to see if there's an opportunity to professionalize the game to another level here, to create a larger commercial opportunity, and not just because commercial opportunity suggests you can grow revenue, but because we believe that with markets, if you can create proper incentives, you can get significant additional investment, and ultimately that's the way to grow the game at all levels. So that's what we're continuing to look at right now.
Next question is on the right side, third row back and third person in.
Hi, Adam. Tim Reynolds with you. How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Hi, Adam. 2 years ago at this game, Victor was coming as a fan, and everyone knew he would be the #1 pick a few months later. And you got asked a lot of questions that night about Victor, and you were very cautious about not heaping too much pressure or expectation on then a 19-year-old shoulders. When you look back to whatever your private thoughts were at that point, has he exceeded or matched, or I guess how has the reality sort of matched whatever you thought would be possible when Victor came to the NBA? Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. I would say Victor's exceeded my expectations only because, having been with the league for a long time, we've seen lots of projected #1 picks who did or didn't go #1, but even when they went #1, maybe due to no fault of their own or because of an injury or things just didn't work out, didn't meet the high expectations people had of them. So I tried to stay level-headed in terms of what the potential is for a player. Of course, in the case with Victor, there was a body of work, even when we were back then in Paris, where you could see we were televising on NBA TV his club games, and we were familiar with him. I had had the opportunity to spend time with him. There was never a doubt in my mind in terms of Victor's character, his motivation, his drive, his intelligence. All those things are very apparent when you talk to him. I would say now all of those qualities being translated into the NBA game. We didn't know at that time he was going to be with the San Antonio Spurs, which again, we would have all been happy from the league standpoint with whatever club he had gone to. But there, as I mentioned earlier, with R.C. Buford and Coach Pop, there were, a GM and a coach who had fantastic experience developing international players, developing big men. So I think that worked out very well. I think he's received excellent support there. And again, like you never know with these things. It's like interviewing people for jobs. Everyone in this room has hired someone for a job, thinking that they were the perfect person and the candidate. And then when he or she took the job, you quickly realize, well, maybe they weren't the right fit. I think in the case of Victor, as I said, he's exceeded my expectations. One, just by his play on the floor, he's demonstrated that, but also in terms of his desire to engage with fans. I mean, that example I used about him playing chess at Washington Square Park, that was something he chose to do. The league had nothing to do with that, but it was, I think he loves to engage with people. He loves people. And we're also seeing what an incredible work ethic he has. I mean, and I love the fact that now people are actually talking about his defense. I mean, think about that, something that he really is focused on. What a sign of a great player. I mean, everybody clearly easily sees offense statistics, but missed defense in a lot of cases. So, as I said, I'm very happy with him. But even now, I'm always still being a little bit cautious. It's interesting. I was just looking. I think he just turned 21, and LeBron just turned 40. So there's the opportunity for 19 years of excellence. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play tonight and Saturday. And I would say it's a pleasure to be part of a league with Victor Wembanyama.
Next question's on the left, second row, second person in from the aisle.
Hello, Tobias Enke from German Basket Magazine. Adam, basketball in Germany as a sport has benefited from recent success like the World Cup and, of course, from the German NBA players. So it's not surprising that we get asked a lot about potential NBA game in Germany. What message do you have for German basketball fans?
Stay tuned. We're looking very closely at potentially bringing a regular season game to Germany. It's something that our office in Europe is concentrating on at this precise time.
Next question is on the right, second row, third person in.
Hey, Adam.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Fellow New Yorker.
Yes. I wanted to come back to the discussions about the European League. You said you've been meeting with stakeholders this week. What has the tenor of their reactions been? What kind of feedback have you been getting?
The tenor of the meetings have been very positive. And it's not anti anybody or anti any other organization, but I think what we're hearing is that when they look at the success, I'll say soccer just so I don't confuse anybody because that's what we call it in the States. When they look at the tremendous success of soccer globally, but in Europe as well, and they sort of most people in a meeting, they put one hand here and they say that's the commercial success of soccer, and then they put their other hand here and they say that's where basketball currently stands. And so when we look at that opportunity and these potential partners do as well, what they're telling us is they believe that from a commercial standpoint, in terms of the networks they represent or are part of, or those consumer companies that they represent, that they think there's a desire to connect with consumers, particularly young consumers, which is generally the fan base of the NBA, that they think that the market is ready to do more in this sport. I'll add, what is I'm hearing back from people, something I know by virtue of being part of the NBA. The NBA is a unique league in my mind, in that, of course, we represent the best basketball, and with the WNBA, the best women's basketball, but it's also a lifestyle brand. And I think that's something that comes up in many of the meetings, that there's a strong association with music, with fashion, with culture, with art. And I think there's a real appreciation for that the NBA is even something a little bit different than basketball. This is pure basketball. And I think the way to grow the sport is to appeal to people beyond those who are hardcore basketball fans. And that's where our success has come in the United States and elsewhere. It's about the NBA brand. And I think that the notion we've heard back is that if you can bring those elements of the NBA brand and bring those to Europe as part of some structured league potentially, we think there's a real opportunity.
All right, we're going to go to the right. It's about 6 rows back, 3 people in from the aisle.
Hi, Mr. Silver. It's Damian Krakowski from Serpahanas. I'm from Poland. I would like to just ask about the new TV deal that you signed, and if you think that it can leverage some availability for Europe and for Poland as well.
You're referring to the new TV deals we did in the United States?
Yes.
So number one, in many ways, those are global deals. 3 global companies: Disney, Comcast, NBC Universal, and Amazon. So one of the important aspects of these new television deals is it's a move from what I think of as traditional legacy television, over-the-air television, which is still very important, cable television, which in many ways is becoming less important, but then moving to streaming television. And streaming TV, which is really internet television, call it that, provides all kinds of opportunities for fans that you don't have through traditional TV. Number one, phone programming, games can be viewed on your phone or whatever portable device you have. What a huge advantage when you can carry your television with you, especially when there are time zone differences, and particularly for young people who tend not to watch as much traditional television, but watch streaming services, whether that be ESPN or Peacock or Amazon or YouTube for that matter. Young people tend to watch more programming on their phone, and putting aside opportunities in social media. In addition to the availability, those new services allow for all kinds of new functionality, that unlimited numbers of languages, dialects, cameras focused on particular players, human interest, information that can come up while you're watching a game, tap on a player, where's that player from, what are his statistics, etc. Merchandising opportunities, community activities, you name it. Those are things we're very focused on. So from those deals, yes, but we're also, and maybe this goes to your question, those deals are not exclusive around the rest of the world. As we still have opportunities. Bill Koenig is here, who runs the NBA's media business, having additional conversations with broadcasters here in France and elsewhere, so that we can supplement those deals with additional programming that's more local, including, for example, these two games will be available on over-the-air television. I mean, we want to make sure both that we can reach the broadest number of fans, but also that we're reaching fans where they are, and particularly with young fans, that tends to be on their phones. Thank you.
Next question is going to be on the left-hand side, third row back, all the way on the aisle.
Adonis Savlanskas, Basket News coach, Basket.com. Mr. Silver, staying on that European basketball topic, yesterday when you spoke with the French media, you mentioned that the likely scenario will be an independent European league. So even though the league would be entirely new, is it possible that the participating teams will include established, well-known brands like Real Madrid, Panathinaikos, for example? And second part of the question would be regarding the new teams. Could they be soccer brand affiliates in basketball, such as PSG, Man United, Manchester City, and others? And do you think they would be able to compete financially with other top European basketball teams?
The quick answer to your question is everything is still on the table. So potential to include existing clubs, absolutely. Should there be interest, the opportunity to create sustainable competition, yes. Would we want to have a broad base of countries represented? Absolutely. I mean, that's the benefit we have now by coming in and looking at this from a blank canvas. I mean, incidentally, I recognize there's enormous history and tradition here in European basketball, and we want to respect those traditions. Obviously, the United States is used to closed leagues. Europe is used to open leagues, with promotion, relegation, etc. So we're looking at all those facets. But having had this long history from our operation of sports leagues, largely in the United States, a little bit elsewhere, seeing what's happened in Europe, not just in basketball, but in soccer as well, it gives us the opportunity to say, all right, let's take a fresh look. What are the most effective practices for creating a commercially viable league? And that's the process we're going through right now.
Next question is just behind him, fourth row on the left in the maroon hat.
Hello, and I'm Ashley Mamu for a reverse basket session. With the game becoming more and more global, do you feel the need from the American fan base to find the next American faces for the NBA? For example, your fellow Blue Devil, Cooper Flag. Do you think it could be one of the next faces of the league?
I'm going to build off Tim's question. And the last person I want to put pressure on is Cooper Flag, but he looks pretty spectacular so far. I will just add, that while it's amazing to see the breadth and depth of international players coming into the NBA, 70% of our players in the NBA, of course, are still U.S. players. Could we do a better job working potentially with other youth programs in the U.S., developing U.S. players? Absolutely. I think it's something. You happen to be sitting next to Kathy Behrens from the NBA, who's very involved in that program, that we're taking a very close look, working with the NCAA, working with Nike on what more we can do to help bring elite players along, at the same time focusing on participation generally for boys and girls. And I think there's lessons to be learned from Europe, from their system in terms of development. So I'm not concerned at all about the pipeline of American players, but I think there's more we can do. And incidentally, in Europe, having some of the conversations that we've had while we were here are with some former NBA players who grew up in European systems. And as I said before, if we were to look at a league opportunity, we want to be part of a larger ecosystem. And what we've heard is there's been some significant cuts in some of the traditional nationally funded programs that have helped develop basketball. And I know that's something that our partners at FIBA are very focused on. anything we do, they want to be supportive of the local leagues, and they want to be supportive of development programs to ensure that we're doing as good a job as we can supporting youth basketball. And just to add, I mean, when I talk to the great players in the NBA, yes, you have to have incredible physical talents, but Victor is a great example of it. He had incredible training, you know, as a youth player, and was part of first-class organizations. That's necessary. I think it just like, you know, for someone like me who had the opportunity to go to great schools and be trained by David Stern and others, I don't think sports is any different. It's not an accident that these players reach these levels. And I think so the more we can do to support the ecosystem to ensure that basketball is played. And lastly, I'll say, yes, with a focus on elite sports, but just one additional word just about the wonders of sport. And this is not limited to basketball, but it's something we spend a lot of time at the NBA and WME, and that's just encouraging young people to be actively involved physically. You know, with all these screens that people spend all their time looking at, you need to remind them how important it is to be physically active. And basketball happens to be one of those sports where for boys and girls, you know, you can play it alone, you can play it 3-on-3, 5-on-5, etc. That's why I'm so encouraged by what they're doing at the Olympic movement, that getting kids active and then teaching them the values of sport, respect, responsibility, hard work, all those wonderful things that come with sport. Then for the vast majority of them, or almost all of them, who will never go on to play sports at an elite level, those are the important qualities that allow them ultimately to become top-notch journalists or league executives or lawyers, doctors, etc., all those common values. So that traditionally we've had so much support from governments around the world when we brought the game and the investments to these communities, because they see well beyond the commercial opportunities. They're focused on what we can do for these communities.
Next question is me on the right-hand side, second row, 5 people in. Joe?
Joe Barton from The Athletic. I'd like to, I guess, follow up on 2 different points that you've made. One, with the European, the venture that you have been considering. Is it fair at all to say that some of the momentum has stalled on your side as far as moving towards with your own league over here? And then the other thing I wanted to follow up with is there something about European development that you think could work in the U.S.?
Joe, I usually agree with you on most things, so I'd say, no, it's not fair at all to say that momentum has stalled. I mean, from what we've been doing at the league office in terms of the process we've been following, we're right on track. I mean, I'm not sure what anybody else's expectation was. I mean, our plan all along was to spend time here this summer. We were here for the Olympics, to have a series of meetings, and we were on the ground here for roughly 2 weeks to watch basketball ourselves. Certainly all the stakeholders were here watching the Olympics, to go back, do some additional work, always knowing that we would be here for this week in January to set a set of meetings here and take advantage of that opportunity. We have an NBA board meeting late March where we will be giving an update to our bosses, in essence. So from that standpoint, we're right on track. So I don't feel that way at all. You know, I'd say in terms of what we see, remind me of the second part of your question. The development from standpoint, yeah, I think they're sure. I think that when I talk to, you know, Luka Doncic or you know, certainly Victor or Giannis, you know, other top-notch international players, and talk about the track they were on and developing as players, there's a lot that is preferable in many ways to the American system. I mean, it's an exaggeration to say it, but often people will shorthand it to say, in Europe, youth basketball elite players, you know, practice 6 days a week and play 1. In the United States, they play 6 days a week and practice 1. I mean, that's not quite true. I'm looking at Joe Dumars, who's sort of shaking his head, saying, in essence, yes. I mean, I think in youth basketball in the U.S., the young players are playing too many games, and I think that there's sometimes too much of a focus on skill. I don't. It's not that they're not working as hard. They certainly, in some cases, I think they're working too hard and need to be playing more sports at once. But you know, my feeling here is that there's something we said when youth players are part of a singular organization, in some cases maybe 14 through 19, there's much more of an incentive to bring players along, as opposed to a win now mentality. And I think that's something that if we can bring back to the States, again, working with the NCAA, potentially working with EYBL, the youth program that Nike runs, I think at an elite level, and the data supports it, that we think some of the injuries that our young players are experiencing are overuse injuries, not because they're being too physical, but it's from the repetition of certain things, and that's why I think like certainly Joe Dumar's generation, those players in the league also happen to be the best at every other sport in their schools because they played different sports depending on the season, and we're not necessarily going to move away from specialization, but I think there is an opportunity here using the kind of data that we now have. AI is going to be extraordinarily helpful because now when a player is injured, you can go back through AI and see every move that player made and see common patterns. What's a player doing? What necessarily led them to that injury? So the answer is we can do a better job and we can learn from European development.
We have time for 2 more questions on the third.
Because my answers are so long.
No, they're great. We're going to left-hand side, 3 rows back, 5 people in, essentially in the center.
Hey, Adam, Len World, Open Court Basketball. We've been praising European basketball all night long, and it's internationally, in general, that's been growing. Like Pascal Siakam, for example, who's playing tonight here as well. Regarding the upcoming All-Star weekend, you had a new plan to attract, some new viewers and to make the game more competitive. Was something like a Team USA versus Team World something you've been maybe thinking about as it is used in different European leagues as an All-Star game?
Yeah, we have explored the idea of doing a U.S. team versus a world team, and maybe we will do that one day. A couple of thoughts on that. One is, as I mentioned, 30% of the league is international and the rest American players. So one, just not to say we couldn't figure out a way around this, but the extent we want to have a fair process for picking all-stars, if you're picking half the players from a 30% pool and the other half from 70% pool, it might not be fair to the players. So that's one thing we're looking at. In addition, I want to be respectful of not just international basketball, but the incredible work that individual countries are doing. I'm just by way of example, there's 14 NBA players from France. I mean, I could see that some international players would say, that might have been the old days when it was US against all of us. But, we're not so bad that, it takes it's US against 200 other countries, that have players. So it may be to me a little bit of an old fashioned concept where we come in as Americans and say, we'll take on the world. I'm not sure how well that would be received by our international players. So we're experimenting, as you mentioned, with a new format this year. I haven't given up, on All-Stars still being, competitive, entertaining games for the fans. That's certainly not where we were this year. Hopefully, we went back to the drawing board. We had direct conversations with many of the players, many of the perennial All-Stars to talk about what it is that we could put together from a competitive standpoint. And I'm optimistic this year that we landed on a formula that will work.
And the last question, we're going to go on the right-hand side, second row, 4 people in.
Yeah. You mentioned, I think last week on a podcast, you're looking at the 3-point issue. And aside from asking, what are you considering in terms of fixes? Do you feel like the NBA has kind of reached an efficiency trap that baseball reached a few years ago, where teams were behaving in a way where they were trying to maximize winning, but it ultimately hurt the product themselves? And baseball took a number of measures to try to fix that. And if you feel it has, like, does the NBA need to do something small or big in that regard?
The answer is I'm not sure what we need to do as a result, but yes, I would say analytics takes sports, and to your point, it's not unique to basketball or the NBA. It takes sports in a certain direction because it's a coach's and a general manager's job to win. They're not necessarily focused on the aesthetic appeal of the game, understandably. And then it's our role, and working here, Byron Spruell and Joe Dumars and Evan Wash to work with our competition committee and say, all right, we have to balance these interests. That they're going to operate under our current rules, just as we saw in baseball, and do everything they can to win under those existing rules. And then it's on us if we need to make adjustments in those rules, because we're also looking at the aesthetic appeal of the game. I think in the case of three-point shooting, it's absolutely that the analytics have taken teams in certain directions, to the point where, I mean, one aspect in particular that concerns me, and I've heard this directly from some players, that when you get to a point where something, I think, to a great player feels a bit unnatural, and in certain cases, in that category, I would put necessarily a shot that they would otherwise take, that the coach is saying that's a bad shot because of your word efficient. It's not an efficient shot to take that two-pointer. Having said all that, you know, as Joe has said before, the game changes over time. We're in a transition now. The other thing I've learned, and this also came directly from one of our advisors, speaking of Duke, you know, Mike Krzyzewski from Duke University, he's also said to me in our competition committee, be careful not to overreact. I mean, sometimes as adjustments happen, you know, teams may swing a little too far in one direction and they may pull back. I mean, one example maybe is the Boston Celtics. We're an all-time high in three-point shooting in the league, and those numbers are coming down already now midway into the season. So I want to let it marinate a bit. We happen to have a competition committee meeting on Monday of next week. We have a general manager meeting on Tuesday. I want to get direct feedback from our teams on what they're seeing. I should add, I do find night in, night out, we're watching the best athletes in the world do things that were unthinkable to me, you know, when I first joined the league. So I'm enjoying watching the games. Is there a tweak? I'll just add, I'm not necessarily sure it's just three-point shooting. I mean, again, you know, one of the things maybe that we've swung too far is on, I remember there was an era in the NBA, largely, you know, in the 90s, where there was a sense that we had taken away some of the finesse aspects of the game. The game had become too physical. I mean, maybe we went too far in the other direction. And we made some adjustments last year to allow defenses to be a little bit more physical, and fans responded positively to that. And I think teams did as well. I mean, some teams may have had some concerns with exactly how that adjustment was made, but the end result, I think, has been very positive from a fan standpoint. So those are the kinds of things that we're continuing to look at, because I've seen some incredible games. I just look at those Olympic games that I was here for, USA, Serbia, USA, France, in the medal round. Many people have said to me, those are two of the best basketball games they've ever seen. It just so happens that the three-point shooting in those games were at a higher rate on average than the average we're seeing in the NBA right now. And I don't think anyone said, oh, there's too much three-point shooting in those games. So it's a beautiful game. It's an incredible game. I think that the most important part from our standpoint is ensuring there's always competitive tension on the floor. There's a physical part of it. I think that partly what fans are responding to isn't necessarily the number of feet from which the shot has been taken, but what they view as the level of difficulty. That becomes important. Does a shot look too easy to the fans? And I think fans like a certain aspect of the physical grinding that comes with this game. And I don't think we want that to be lost. So, I have tremendous confidence in our competition committee, of my coworkers who are really expert on the game. I think it's my job to listen to the fans as well, and to ensure that what we were presenting ultimately as the NBA product has the greatest appeal possible. And so, I'm listening to the critics. I don't want to overreact, but I think there potentially are some adjustments we can make.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Commissioner. And thank you, everybody, for being here.
All right, appreciate that. Hey, you were talking about this leaning pregame routine.
Yep, chop, chop, chop. Lean. There it is. Move, basket, move. Nabil, I need you to demonstrate this later. Yes, move, basket, move. That's what I was talking about. Nabil, you see it? That is a different. You've never seen anybody. Camera crew upstairs, baby. Look at it. Big picture. Same page, baby. That's what you found it. Now you got to do it.
Asia, your car's small.
It's a little cramped, but it's fine.
Fine? When you became MVP once, was that fine? No. He did it thrice.
They built you a statue.
But you're fine with this tiny car when you could just sell it to CarMax?
You're right. It's not fine.
Can't feel my legs.
Never settle on the lot or on the court. CarMax.
Hi, I sell deodorant for a living, but not just any deodorant. The whole body deodorant designed just for guys. Bando whole body deodorant is clinically proven to block odor all day and control it for 72 hours. Plus, it was invented by a doctor right here in the USA. What's Bando's secret? It paralyzes odor-causing bacteria. You stop bacteria, you stop odor before it starts. Now get this, because our deodorants are free from any harsh chemicals, they work safely anywhere on your body. New customers get 30% off at shopmando.com.
I'll give you this brand new electric vehicle if you can prove to me you know your finance. How many subscriptions are you paying for?
Just 3.
You sure? Let's download the Rocket Money app right now and see if you're right. It's actually 21 subscriptions, which is costing you around $370 a month.
The app is telling you all this?
Rocket Money shows you all your expenses in one place and even helps you suggest a budget based on your past spending. Don't worry about the 21 subscriptions. You can cancel them right within the app. It'll even try and get you some of your money back.
He is unstoppable. First off,
He was really
no way they're losing this game. You want to bet? The support wager here from the Insiders on ATN with Odds Like That. Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern on BATV. NBA Sports. On TNT, TV, and stream VR Sports on Max.
My basketball journey began when I was 3 years old. I've been really blessed within the game, and the game has given me so much. When I retired, I never really left basketball. I literally have held every job in the NBA. It was an opportunity to continue to stay in the game, talk about the game, share my knowledge. And my journey brought me here to NBA TV.
You're watching CarMax Pregame the way car buying should be.
Getting set for the first of 2 games during the NBA's Paris games. The other one going Saturday. We know the Spurs are going to be the fan favorites with Victor Wembanyama, but the Indiana Pacers are playing some great basketball, led by this guy, Tyrese Halliburton, who's been great in January.
Yes, thank you. Because I was wondering where it's been for a minute. Smitty, I didn't know if it was the hamstring went back, USA basketball, whatever it was, but him being aggressive, him attacking, makes the defense be on their heels. Now he can facilitate getting Russell ball. For sure, 15 and 5, and it's been on both ends. I think Halliburton on the offensive end, but Nembhard missed most of November. Since he's returned defensively, they like third in defensive efficiency. He's a small 2 guard, but he just gets after it. So having that one guy kind of lead them in defense and then everybody jumping on board and Halliburton offensively, they're playing good basketball.
Yeah, I remember about a month ago, Rick Carlisle said there was a point where they finally got to practice. And it wasn't helping their offense, it was helping their defense.
Yeah, and I think offensively they're fine, but if you can't stop anybody and get stops, then you can't get out and run. They were playing too much half-court basketball, and they're a team that needs to flow, whether it's fast break or flow into their secondary offense.
Front office, are you happy with what you see? Trade deadline's right around the corner. Do you need to tweak something? Also, what did you learn last year by getting swept by the Celtics? Because you were right there. I think maybe 2 of those games were blowouts, 2 games you were in it. What did you learn from last year to get ready for the playoffs?
No, what do you think they're missing?
I don't know if it's the chemistry to practice, because last year they didn't have Benedict Mathurin for the playoffs. Is he the piece you need for more energy and coming off the bench, or do you need to make a move to get more production from your bench?
I'm with 3D. It's a tough situation. They know their team better than we do.
Yeah.
Do they add a piece to get over the hump, or do they stay with these young guys because they're relatively young and just keep getting better? But if I said to add one thing is, I would like another big that has some kind of skill set, whether it's a three-point shooting, rebounding, defending. You know, you want a big to do all of it, but at least a big that can do one of those, especially in one of those areas.
No, great point, because the playoffs come, we know things shrink, possessions get shorter, you want to defend the paint.
The Pacers have won 9 out of their last 10 games. It's been a productive trip for Obi Toppin. Congratulations. their engagements.
You know what they say?
What they say?
Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. Where'd you go? Where'd you go, young fella? Cupid.
This guy's bilingual, people.
Whoa. Want to alley-oop to... Oh,
he's just showing off for the fiance, showing off.
Wee to the whoa.
What do you expect from Obi Toppin tonight?
Wee. Maybe a couple. Hopefully he got a little bit of sleep. Yeah. Look at Wemby. Do it all.
My moderate to severe plaque psoriasis held me back. But now, with Skyrizi, I'm all in. Thanks to Skyrizi, I saw dramatically clearer skin. And many even achieved 100% clear skin. Don't use if allergic. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and TB. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. With Skyrizi, nothing on my skin means everything. Ask your dermatologist about Skyrizi today.
Hello? Hi, I'm Gemini.
Hi.
How can I help you?
So I just talk?
Yes, but normal. We can have a conversation about anything you like. Huh. Anything? Try looking for a small round bolt somewhere on the oil pan.
Got it.
Does the child seem ready for bedtime? No.
And then I look down and I had spaghetti fingers.
Well, in dreams, noodles can sometimes represent creativity. Have you had
Get the all-new Google Pixel 9 series with Gemini Live.
Watch on TNT, True TV, and stream VR Sports on Max.
My basketball journey began when I was 3 years old. I've been really blessed within the game, and the game has given me so much. When I retired, I never really left basketball. I literally have held every job in the NBA. It was an opportunity to continue to stay in the game, talk about the game, share my knowledge. And my journey brought me here to NBA TV.
What's all this?
I'm 717 online for free NBA tickets. Need to make sure that they see me in the crowd. But first, I need to finish my posters.
You know you can do all that without doing all this. Look, with the NBA app, you can fan hard on your faves, test your fandom, and with NBA ID, get a shot at free tickets, all for free.
Does this mean there's more time for my bucket sport?
I'm really wondering what's going through the head of someone. You get the thing. That's an A. The A for Taylor. Not bad. A little skinny. I see the technique, but you can tell he hasn't seen it very often. Well, I thought Sandro had been to first before, but it doesn't translate to a draw. It looks like a tent. Oh, that's crazy. He's never heard the Eiffel Tower. It looks like a cave with a kid on top. But it's actually not bad. Okay, this one is probably the best so far. Oh, wow, this is the best. This is the best. Yeah. And you know, like, I mean, they did not try to put too many details. Okay, this one's very good. Yeah, this one's pretty good. Like, if you showed that to somebody, they would recognize this. Plus, Chris, he told me he drew me next to Jafar, but I couldn't tell that was me though. He could have at least done Jersey, so you can tell it's me. The tower is alright though. It's probably the third best. Man, I can't get over this. I'm gonna frame it.
Gotta be careful with some of those drawings, man. It's a family show.
Hey,
some of those were a little suspect, but that's okay.
Hey, there's your fish coming in. That's your
Whoa. Can't show that on TV. Victor Wembanyama, you're making a great point, 3D. He's already got that one, like everyone just calls him Wemby now.
Right.
There's a certain selection of players that get that kind of respect.
Yes, when you turn the corner and you're just that one syllable nickname, you can't compare yourself to anybody. You know, Smee and I are old enough, we saw Ralph Sampson, and we were, whoa, like me say, whoa, but it's still not Wemby. what he's doing. Big shout out to Tim Martin, his trainer. I remember really when I first got him, you know, he wasn't big as a strong man, like good nickname for him. But he never ever thought about putting him in the paint. So when you go back online and look at all the old video when he's 15 years old, he's dribbling around cones. So when I saw the Sham God in live time in the game, I wasn't as surprised as everyone else was because I know he's been working on it. So we have to get used to growing up in old school basketball. If you were 6'6" or above, they threw you in the paint and you stayed there and you work on your skill set. Where in today's basketball, we don't care what your height is. If you're working on a skill set and you're proving to us you can do it every night like this, you played with Arvidas at the end of his career. You know, I was around different guys, but I don't think we've ever seen this thing.
No, not at all. It's a 3D point where you have to evolve. You're a big guy. Everybody sent the big guys to Akeem Olajuwon. He went and got Jamal Crawford last summer
great
to help him work on whatever they were working on. Jamal Crawford's what, 6'3"? And Wemby's 7'5"? He went, asked for Jamal Crawford, so you can see he's looking at his skill set totally different where we visualize the game back in the 80s and 90s.
No, two things to that. Like, I asked Jamal about that, and he said Wemby was the most mature 20-year-old he's ever met. He said he was blown away with those workouts. And the other thing, too, I remember Greg Popovich last year we were doing a Spurs game, and you look at the blocks that Wemby gets and the impact he has defensively, they actually keep a stat of, like, shots altered, too.
Yes.
We don't see that, right?
Yes. Go ahead, Smitty.
Well, I was going to ask, just after you get finished, go ahead.
No, when he first came into the league, that's one of the first things I said that we should figure out a stat where alterations, or when a guy goes to the basket, you see guys like, where is he at? And you're reversing it or doing something, creating a turnover. I think because of how he plays Smith, we may need to add that stat.
I think we piggyback what 3D said earlier, the language of basketball. And I just thought about this. If I take Dennis Scott with his skill set in high school, and he drafted in the NBA per se in France, what's your comfort level there? You have no distractions. It's not even about family.
Yeah.
So what would be your universal language when you get bored, per se, if you were playing in Italy or in Paris in the NBA? You're going to the gym.
Going to the gym.
And your teammates, your language would be
going to the gym.
Going to the gym. So I think that's the advantage they have here. When they come, they might not know the language and the food is different, but you go to the gym because that's what you love, is the language of basketball.
And every team now, all 30 teams, have at least 2 or 3 coaches catered to one guy. So you may come to practice on one day, you're working on this. The next day, you're working on that. So every day, to Smitty's point, in today's NBA, you have multiple coaches to watch film with, to get shots up, to work on your body. And now every team now has nutrition.
Because I would say, just say we had 6 hours, to yourself here in the United States.
You do.
You're doing totally different things.
Yes.
But 6 hours over in Paris, if you were over there in the NBA 3D, you'd probably be at the gym.
You'd be at the gym.
Or eating baguettes, croissants.
After that, too.
Oh, no. Hey, this guy right here, pretty good to have him on that team, too. Chris Paul, Bentley, Oscar Robertson there, too.
Big O, thank you.
Big O said, if I know it was big, I got more triple doubles. He said, if I know more, I got more triple doubles.
Instantly, DraftKings, these offers got me hyped. On the outside, I'm cool. But on the inside, I'm like...
With DraftKings, new customers can turn a $5 NBA bet into $200 instantly in bonus bets. Crown the stores.
Ooh.
You never met Jack, so you still sound good. Ride your mountain bike, but you still sound good.
Everyman Jack aluminum-free deodorant with many naturally derived ingredients, so you can.
You did for 7 seconds, but you still sound good. Late to see some friends, but you still sound good. You said everyone else. I have a structured sentiment and it's your money. Use it when you need it.
877 cash now to get a $100 gift card for a free quote.
AT&T has a new guarantee because most things in life are not guaranteed, like having enough in the tank. That's the worst. Great outdoors always being great.
Whose idea was this? Yours.
Or the perfect weather. Yeah, that's not guaranteed. Nice suit though. You know what AT&T guarantees? Connectivity you depend on, the deals you want, and the service you deserve. Or we'll make it right. That's the AT&T guarantee.
When you're a sports fan, nothing beats being there. And when you're with Amex Platinum, you never miss the next big moment. That's the powerful backing of American Express.
All-time French starting five.
Oh, brother. Boris Diaw.
Boris Diaw.
Boris Diaw. Tony Parker.
Tony Parker.
Tony Parker. Tony Parker.
Tony Parker. Tony Parker, point guard for sure. Rudy Gobert at the five.
Gobert. Rudy Gobert.
Gobert.
I guess you have to go Gobert. Rudy Gobert.
Victor.
Victor Wembanyama.
Victor Wembanyama.
Victor, Wembanyama. Nicholas Batum.
Nicholas Batum.
Evan Fournier.
Fournier.
Evan Fournier.
Evan Fournier. The first one that comes to my head is Vincent Poirier. There you go. There's five.
Koulibaly in there.
I was just hitting my Haney.
Joel Embiid has French citizenship, so he can be on the team as well.
Listen, Evan Fournier, when he puts on that French uniform, he's a different player. Certain guys.
We'll give him a pass to your point.
Right.
He plays
Certain guys.
a few basketball, plays lights out. They miss him.
Dennis Schroeder-like. He's Dennis Schroeder-like.
Yeah, Turiaf. That's solid. That's a good one. Roddy Turiaf. For me personally, I would move Batum over. Sorry, Fournier. We get champagne now. I love it. But let's just go ahead and put Wemby at the five. Move Gobert to the four. And Gobert does have all those defensive players. So I will
say this though: the French national coach of the Olympics did not play Gobert.
No, right?
You did not trust Gobert, so you can replace.
Obviously, Tony Parker's my favorite, my teammate.
Yes.
But the guy that had me laughing, Boris Diaw would come in with a cup of coffee. He's so nonchalant. Okay, Tony, I'll get you one spinning. Oh, spinning. Why you didn't throw it up? Spinning your arm now. Yes. Why you didn't throw it up? A good pass. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Frenchie, extended my career by 4 games.
Boy, you know,
got that bling. Yeah. I mean, because the big dog over there, everybody said he's going to struggle without a jump shot.
Right.
Didn't get a jump shot till late, but he still led the league in points to the paint one year. Oh, that's what I loved about Tony, to your point, Smitty, and the bill to your question. He never listened to people. He played his game, got to the sweet spot, knocked down the shot he needed to, never needed to.
Does this man age? We just saw him.
They're real close when they talk.
You better get that camera off him right now. Whoa.
They get real close.
Hey, man, that's a city of love.
There you go. They over there.
No, we're not. We're in Atlanta. Thank God we are not in Paris. Whoa.
We did that.
Not.
AT&T has a new guarantee because most things in life are not guaranteed, like having enough in the tank. That's the worst. Great outdoors always being great.
Whose idea was this? Yours.
Or the perfect weather. Yeah, that's not guaranteed. Nice suit though. You know what AT&T guarantees? Connectivity you depend on, the deals you want, and the service you deserve. Or we'll make it right. That's the AT&T guarantee.
This season, Jim Beam and I are helping fans work through the 7 stages of defeat. Like shock, denial,
Just a flat?
anger. This is the thing. And acceptance. Here's to next season.
Welcome to this year's championship game. This is the big one.
With Amex Gold, you can score 4 times points on restaurants around the world. So you can raise the bar on game night. That's the powerful
backing of American Express.
Buffalo Wild Wings Monday through Thursday BOGO deals are totally making it rain burgers and wings. I'm walking around, mouth open, just, BOGO burger, BOGO traditional wings, BOGO boneless. I love the rain.
Here. Same time next month? Okay. Who's that? Oh, just an annoying subscription. He sucks. You gotta get rid of him. I know, but he's just so hard to cancel. Just download Rocket Money. You cancel subscriptions you don't want right in the app, and it might even be able to get you a refund on some of the money you lost. Download Rocket Money today.
Used every man jack, so you still feel good. Rather you mountain bike, but you still feel good. Fall down a mountain, but you still sound good. Late to see some friends, but you still sound good.
All right, Victor Wembanyama getting set. His San Antonio Spurs, a homecoming for him in Paris. One of two games together coming up on Saturday. You know he's going to be jacked up for this contest. You're watching here on NBA TV. Starting lineup presented by CarMax. And when you take a look at the I'm really intrigued by the Pacers lineup and what they got going right now, playing so well in James.
I love them. When they defend, they get out and run. They create the one area I would love to see them get better at is rebounding the basketball. They're like 26, 27.
They're small, though, if you look at them, right? Like, especially with that lineup.
They look tall to me with Siakam in turn.
Siakam's what, 6'9"?
6'9", you better go rebound. You play a ball for it. You get him and Miles Turner together, they need to be.
But to your point, though, Smitty, we're looking at two guys, though, in today's basketball. They're kind of like me. They don't want to go in the paint and get their feet dirty. So you're dealing with two so-called power forward centers that shoot more threes than the average guy. So now you can see why especially when the offense is there, offense rebound is going to be down defensively. You said something earlier about women. Going home. I know you going back to Detroit, me going back to D.C. I wonder how many tickets Wemby had to give out today. Knowing that like 53 countries is watching this game, all the friends and family he's had growing up, and now he's got to have a home game. This is the home game for him.
And I would tell you, when I played with the Heat, Willie Burton was from the state of Michigan. Grant Long State of Michigan, Glenn Rice. I want all your tickets.
It was kind of crazy. Well, what's kind of crazy thing too is when you guys went back to your state.
Correct.
This is a country.
Yes.
You know, you're gonna have people from all over.
So the club basketball. So the first time he's ever played basketball, each year he's created his basketball family. Yep. So now all the hype he's lived through from last year and this year, and he's getting better and better. It's amazing that mom and dad, his little brother and little sister, like the stuff they're going through as well, I think we overlook because Big Brother is so big for them. It's got to be amazing.
This is kind of cool. Wemby just addressed the crowd. Let's go to that right now.
Bonsoir, Paris. Peut-être que Paris Indiana, mais il y a des fans des Spurs aussi. Ça tombe bien, parce que c'est à vous que je m'adresse. Comme vous le savez, c'est une immense joie, un immense plaisir de pouvoir venir jouer ici à Paris. Et je n'ai pas envie que ce soit la dernière fois, j'ai envie qu'on puisse faire ça plus souvent. Donc, c'est pour ça que j'ai besoin de vous. J'ai besoin que vous fassiez un maximum de bruit pour leur montrer que, si vous le voulez, les Spurs pourraient revenir à Paris dans les années à suivre. Et en échange, je vous promets de faire le maximum pour vous procurer un maximum de plaisir, de bonheur et de spectacle. Merci Paris.
Applaudissements, mesdames, messieurs, pour Victor.
No. Remember you were making fun of mine?
Well,
what did he say?
Well, first of all, I said Paris off the top. He said it the same way. So that's pretty good. And then after that, I don't know what he really said. I know he said thank you. He said thank you at the end.
I could have figured that out.
Maximize something.
You know, the dream come true to come here.
Thank you.
I could actually, you know what? I could actually say anything right now, and you might have believed me.
I would not have believed you because the way you were looking at it like you did not have a clue. You're like, I'm Canadian. We know French.
I haven't taken French
Whoa,
since
whoa.
grade 10.
No.
My grade 10 French teacher,
No,
Mr. Erickson,
no.
hated me.
It was
Trying to get
terrible situation.
You trying to get it out, Too late.
It don't work. It's in your head.
No. You should have seen how bad it was when I went to Paris.
Were you bad?
Oh my God, it was horrible.
Hold on,
Google Translate helped me out a lot.
Did they? At least you was there.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Toss
To the
it out.
bosses.
Toss it out
We
in
can be
French.
there Saturday.
Toss it out in French.
Time now to go to Kristen Hari, Quinn Buckner. Bonjour. Comment ça va? C'est bon.
Hey, that was pretty good.
JJ on the Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance sideline. Quinn, you and I were talking. There are 2 games here. You've traveled across the Atlantic, so much going on, but you've got to play basketball games, and the Pacers have played it very well in January. How do they adapt to this environment?
Miles talked about it. I played with one of the great centers ever to play in the league, Robert Parrish. One of the things he was able to do is compartmentalize. He literally said, once I step, Buck, before I called me Buck, before I step on the court, I'm one way. When I step on the court, it's about the game. And that's the way the Pacers have to be. With all of that going on the, Eiffel Tower and this, go La Chenée, which is where Victor's from, all of that, out of the window, when the ball goes up, it's time to play.
And Wembanyama controls the tip, and so the Spurs have it. These 2 teams split the regular season series a year ago, both teams winning at home, and they'll play 2 games in Paris. Wembanyama cut off by Turner. Great defense by Miles and grabs the rebound. Pacers in their statement gold uniforms.
It's going to be tough, I think, for San Antonio to guard the Pacers. I think the San Antonio players will play extraordinarily hard because of Victor Wembanyama. But defensively, San Antonio's got some matchup problems because I'm telling you, a nightmare is Siakam.
Wembanyama goes inside, fires it out to Barnes, the veteran, Vassell.
He's a good offensive player. He really is.
16 points a game in his 5th year out of Florida State. And we're tied at 2. Halliburton guarded by Castle, the rookie out of UConn. Nembhard misses the 3. Long rebound out to Barnes.
Barnes has been a big pickup for San Antonio as well. Thank you. Step on the line. Because he brings some experience to the youth that Mitch Johnson, the coach from San Antonio, has on his team.
Mitch Johnson is the interim coach. Greg Popovich, suffering a mild stroke, has been away from the team. But CEO R.C. Buford says he is attacking his rehab. You know Pop very well.
Yeah, Pop's working on getting better. I mean, he wants to make sure he's got some help. But he also, I think, he's got to be pleased with what Mitch Johnson has done.
Turner down the lane, and he missed the dunk. Wemby came from behind. He beat him, and now Barnes goes inside, up and under.
Psychologically for Miles, that's going to be a good test for him because you know the length that Wembanyama can always come back to get.
Mathurin, step back 3. It's no good. Wembanyama the rebound. He's 17th in points, 8th in rebounds, and leads the NBA with 4 block shots per game.
I'm telling you, it's the passing that makes it most difficult. And if Wembanyama started it off, once you start, they get you in a double team and you're rotating, it's really a problem from there. You got to be able to guard your yard, guard your man.
6 straight points for San Antonio.
Like that. We had Wembanyama and Halliburton. I want to see what happened.
And that's in and out, no good. Nembhard's missed 2 threes. Indiana 1 of 5 and 0 of 3 from behind the arc. Castle has moved into the starting lineup, and he loses the ball. Jeremy Sohan, 3rd year out of Baylor, has been injured as Rick Carlisle looks on. His 8th year as the head coach of the Pacers.
Castle doing his best. He wanted a call on the seal by Siakam.
Yeah, Siakam does that really well. He's a very good post guy, especially in transition. He got some depth, and he can utilize his dribble to maneuver and make a lot of back to the basket moves.
First foul today on Nimhard.
What a difference he's made into the Pacers team, right? Having Andrew Nimhard back. Both sides of the floor, but especially defensively. One of the elite defenders in the NBA.
Third year, second round pick. 8 shots last year in the playoffs against the Knicks to advance the series. 8 to shoot for the Spurs. Wembanyama from 20 feet away, straight on.
You know what's amazing? Miles Turner was up into him, and it's like you didn't even notice him. And he's 6'11".
First field goal for Wembanyama, but Siakam with the early answer. And Mitch Johnson wants a timeout for the Spurs. 4-point lead early, but the Pacers by 4. 12-8 early going in Paris.
Jules, Timéo et Jules, les gars, vous allez vous affronter sur un parcours de 24 secondes pour marquer 1 point, 2 points ou 3 points pour remporter la montre NBA Tissot Superwatch. Vous allez pouvoir la gagner. Timéo, c'est toi qui commence pour les Spurs. Le premier spot, il est là. Est-ce qu'on peut faire du bruit pour Timéo, s'il vous plaît, ce soir? Timéo, est-ce que tu es prêt? Ok, DJ. 3, 2, 1. Let's go! Allez, ça fait 1 point pour Timéo. Et je rappelle que les participants n'ont pas le droit d'enchaîner 2 spots de suite. Donc on peut faire du 2-3, 2-3. Ok. Timéo, il est chaud. Il est chaud pour les Spurs. Il reste 7 secondes sur le chrono. La montre Tissot NBA Super Sport a gagné. Ok. Ok, non, le chrono est terminé. 10 points. 10 points pour Timéo, s'il vous plaît. Jules, viens là, mon pote. T'as compris, il faut que tu fasses 11 points pour gagner la montre Super Sport NBA. T'es prêt? Ok. DJ, 3, 2, 1, let's go. 11 points à battre. Et ça commence par un petit point pour Jules. Ok, 2 points supplémentaires. On a fait 3 points de plus. Je sens qu'on pourrait peut-être avoir une petite égalité, peut-être. 10 points à battre. Oh. Et d'un point. 11. Le dernier, on va pas le compter, mais ça fait de toi le grand. Ça fait de toi le grand gagnant ce soir, Timéo. Regarde ce que tu remportes. S'il te plaît, elle est là, elle est pour toi. La montre.
In Paris, it's the Pacers by 4 against the Spurs in the 2025 Paris Games presented by Tissot. Ed Cohen, Tim Capstraw with you. And so far, the Pacers are now 5 for 10. Turner and Siakam getting it done inside, but Wembanyama too with that squad in the early going as well.
Just amazing the ground he covers and how he affects the game. And as we see, Tony Parker and what an impact he has made to basketball in the country of France, huh? And let's be honest, to the San Antonio Spurs.
Yep.
He's the ultimate connection right here.
You know, the Olympic gold medal game was played in this arena, Accor Arena, back in August. The legendary closing by Steph Curry that rolled over France. And you think about the Spurs internationally, they've had 32 players represent their country over the years at the Olympics. Only 3 Americans. The other 29 guys from elsewhere in the world as Castle misses the turnaround.
That's amazing. Yes, they were the first to really get and take advantage of international drafting of players. Siakam
out of the
international drafting of players. Siakam
out of the double team, and there's McConnell, but misses.
Well, you had to hurry it, right? You steal Victor Wembanyama.
Deep 3 steps in and drains it.
Oh, man. Oh, man, way behind the line. Just so comfortable.
1-point game. Turner pops for 3, and that's off the mark. So for the Spurs, same starting 5. Wembanyama, Castle, Vassell, and Wemby with the stuff. You fall out there in Barnes, and the Pacers bring on McConnell for Nimhard right now. Catherine, no look. There's Siakam. Made his first 3 shots. What do you do against Wemby in the length?
You turn it over. That's what you do.
Castle brings it down, and for a pulls it in.
A nice response out of the timeout, but the Spurs and Rick Carlisle does not like what he sees right there.
If there's a coach who's unafraid to take a timeout, it's Rick Carlisle. And we'll step aside as well.
Elles ont été élues meilleures danseuses de la NBA. Elles sont là pour vous ce soir. Paris, s'il vous plaît, faites un maximum de bruit pour the Indiana Pacemates.
I'm finna cash on his body. I'm John Stockton.
Applaudissements, s'il vous plaît, pour the Indiana Pacemates. Thank you so much, girl. See you later. L'ambiance est juste parfaite et ce soir avec une parfaite et ce soir avec une
The NBA makes this feel like a home game, especially for Indiana today. The Pacemates, the cheerleaders, making the trip over to Paris for these latest Paris games. They'll meet again on Saturday at Core Arena and Capri. You think about the community work done by both players, coaches, and organizations. These teams arrived on Monday, and it's been events, going to landmarks. Victor Wembanyama opening outdoor courts in his hometown, 12 miles west of Paris and Le Chenet. It's been so much outreach, but that's what makes these games special. And then you factor in when you throw it up, it's game time. These games matter greatly for both sides. You have 2 games in 3 days.
Absolutely.
Midway point first quarter. Obi Toppin in the game for Indiana, along with Aaron Neesmith. Third game back from injury. Neesmith was out for a while, dealing with a sprained left ankle. Here's Nimhard with 6 to shoot against Barnes. Fires from 18. Off the mark. Kemp Ball gobbles it up. Keldon Johnson to the rim, and Toppin altered the shot. Spurs now 7-13, shooting below 54%. Halliburton on a spin. Long 2 is too strong. Indiana not a good offensive rebounding team. 27th in the league, but they get a second chance here and tapped out with 5 to shoot by the cell.
Pretty good defense, though, by the Spurs. They've certainly picked it up since the first few minutes of this game. The issue they had early was Siakam posting up, but their perimeter defense has been fine.
That's where the Pacers can get across here.
Halliburton with an advantage.
Banker missed. Johnson the rebound. Here's Paul leaking out. So no Wembanyama. Jeremy Sohan into the game for the Spurs.
Pick and roll game with Paul.
That always sounds good for the other guy.
Well, they got to get working now. Clock winding down.
7 to shoot. CP3 in for Sohan and knocked out by Neesmith with only 3.1 on the 24.
So important to have a guy like Chris Paul, though, when you have a young team and your organization is so young, to be able to bring him in. What a difference that makes. It's great to see Aaron Neesmith out on the floor for the Indiana Pacers.
Barnes gets a breather. And Julian Champagny in for San Antonio. Late clock situation. Ball in for Vassell, turns into a jumper, in and out. Spurs have had a couple of those so far. Here's Nimhard with a seam, down low, and Thomas Bryant with the push shot. It is, let's see, 11th game now with Indiana.
He's been a nice addition, and he's a confident scorer that can push it behind the three-point line.
Check that, 18 games for the Pacers. He played 10 with Miami as Vassell sticks the three for San Antonio.
First ball gets it right back to you, right in your shooting pocket, right? Vassell knew it was coming right back. Great elevation.
4th assist for Paul. Halliburton with the answer.
Yeah, so elusive.
He has 5 points.
Like watching Nimhard play defense. Digs in.
Paul pulls up for 3. And tapped almost in by Sohan. Toppin likes to run. And underneath, it's Bryant, who's pulled by Vassell on the mismatch. And Devin Vassell with his first for San Antonio, and only the first on the Spurs in the opening quarter.
Well, Spurs forever, Ed, have done a great job. You know, their history, they don't overfoul, right? They make it a point under Popovich or for years. They've been always one of the 1, 2, or 3 best teams at not fouling. He's right there.
Trey Jones denies McConnell. Keldon Johnson, we're 0 now. Layup no, and in midair, the stick back's good for Jones. I guess Chris Paul won that number battle, right? He was going to take 3. Johnson goes to 0. Toppin tees up a 3, and that's good for Obi Toppin.
Consistently shooting the ball exceptionally well for the Pacers since his time their way. He's found the right organization to really enhance his game.
Normally 34%, but it's so hand down. Champs-Élysées with the stuff.
Very good. Well, the Pacers' defense has really improved, but not in that position.
First 22, Indiana 19. Toppin gets free on a step-back 3, and that's good. Goes back-to-back. And ties the game at 22. Obi Toppin, 34% three-point shooter this year. Champagnie rimmed out.
Well, this is what helped make the Pacers so special last year when they go to their bench, right? They were so explosive. This guy was a great leader, T.J. McConnell.
Halliburton, and almost got the bounce, but misses. Bench scoring capper for Indiana was tops in the league the prior 2 years.
Yes, not this year, though, right?
Some injuries, guys in and out of the lineup. But right now, as it goes 5 falters, and they're as healthy as they've been all year.
Healthy and defending. That's what makes the Pacers very interesting this year. They've got a lot of wing guys like Ben Shepherd that can come onto the floor. And they're a different version of their team that they had last year. Not necessarily changing players, but I think Siakam being there the whole year. I think, Nimhard's defensive ability, they're so much better on the defensive side.
McConnell underneath the basket, lost it, but gets it back, and it did come out of bounds, says Dennis Schroeder. So Indiana losing possession. Now Wembanyama re-enters after playing the first 7 minutes. And listen to the roar every time Wembanyama's involved here tonight. Daytime in the U.S., nighttime in Paris.
Full court extended pressure. McConnell and the Pacers love to do that. The combination of him and Nimhard really get after people.
Trey Jones flings it out. Johnson catch and shoot. Off the mark on the 3. So Indiana with 5 bench players now. Toppin fakes, drives to the rim, lost it, but he's fouled. And Obi Toppin will shoot 2 for Indiana.
They're making a nice contribution coming off the bench here in the first quarter. Obi Toppin, knocking down shots, knocked down a couple shots that time because he's shooting it so well. He gets closed out, hard at Wembanyama. Wembanyama comes hard out after him. A little shot fake and attacks. Good job, Obi Toppin.
Well, tip of the cap to Obi Toppin. I want to talk about a smart guy. So he makes the first. Proposed to his girlfriend.
Yes.
In Paris.
Yes.
That's how you get it done. There's Adam Silver.
Yes.
Yeah, the commissioner's done so much to enhance the the international relationships in Europe, Mexico City, preseason. Dubai a couple of years ago for the Pacers. Abu Dhabi now each year.
Well, 125 international players are in the NBA.
Grand stage for Wembanyama and others here today. Sohan for three. That's good for Jeremy Sohan.
Bit of a surprise. Sohan not known for his shooting. Here's a popping again.
Oh, that's 3 threes.
He's lighting it up, Obi.
Here's 11 points. Leads all scorers in the first quarter. Jones with a seam. Nice pass. And Sohan with the finish underneath.
Good job, Trey Jones, splitting the defense there, making them commit and dropping it off.
Tied up at 27.
Obi feeling it.
Step back three. And a heat check for Obi Toppin. But the largest lead for either side this quarter was 4. Wembanyama from deep. Off the heel. Toppin outlets Ben Shepherd. The lob. Ryan brings it down. Makes patience by Indiana. Neesmith off the mark.
Well, that patience occurs because Wembanyama's in the paint.
Logo 3. That's good for Victor Wembanyama.
It's so effortless. Well, the possession before, though, when he had the ball, it wasn't the shot, it was the dance, the moves with the ball. So impressive.
He's attempting over 9 threes a game. Final 8 seconds, first quarter. McConnell pulls up for the elbow, off the mark. Bryant again, yes, for the Pacers. 2 seconds to work with. Wembanyama, 1 second. The launch at the buzzer is short. And after one, it's the Spurs in a back-and-forth game, up 30-29.
Very entertaining start to this game in Paris. It's going to be a lot of fun.
C'est le moment que vous attendez toutes et tous ce soir. C'est l'heure du shoot à 100 000 euros présenté par Paris Sport en ligne ce soir. Je veux que vous fassiez un maximum de bruit pour notre participant qui est là. Faites du bruit pour Rudy, s'il vous plaît, ce soir. Rudy, tu as une chance ce soir. Un tir à 1 000 euros sur la ligne des lancers francs. Un tir à 10 000 euros sur la ligne derrière la ligne à 3 points. Et puis, on va avancer progressivement sur le shoot à 100 000 euros. Est-ce qu'on peut donner de l'énergie à Rudy ce soir, s'il vous plaît? Rudy, on y va pour le premier spot. Le tir à 1 000 euros sur la ligne des lancers francs. Ok. Rudy, on va se décaler pour le shoot à 10 000 euros. Et Rudy qui va se mettre en position à 45 degrés. Paris, s'il te plaît, donne de l'énergie à Rudy ce soir. Quand tu veux. Ok. Rudy, on va tranquillement se déplacer sur la ligne médiane pour le shoot à 100 000 euros. Est-ce qu'on peut donner l'énergie à Rudy ce soir, s'il vous plaît? Et qui de mieux pour apporter le ballon pour le shoot à 100 000 que la légende française du basket, 4 fois champion NBA avec les Spurs. Merci d'accueillir Tony Parker. Rudy, Tony Parker qui va t'apporter. Ils se sont rencontrés hier soir, tous les deux du côté de la NBA House. Tony, merci d'être avec nous. Merci d'être avec nous. S'il vous plaît, du bruit pour Rudy. Quand tu veux. Quand tu veux. Let's go. On y va. Let's go. Come on.
The second quarter in the Paris Games 2025, and Victor Wembanyama missed his first couple of shots, but then made ones like these from deep.
Well, that's what the people came for, right? They came for a lot of reasons, but this guy, Victor Wembanyama, you know he wants to put on a show, right? And so he's been able to knock down threes, make plays at the rim, and have 10 first quarter points. And then, of course, impacting the game on the defensive side. Not with just one block, but how many intimidations, right? Remember Bill Russell. I heard Bill Russell say this. It's not the shots I block. It's the ones they think I'm going to block.
I mean, the space he occupies and the positioning. But how has he gotten smarter as a defender? We say that knowing that he's the front runner for defensive play.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he has just got a very good feel.
Yeah, reaching on Champagny for the Spurs. Haven't on a whistle so far, but first foul on San Antonio this quarter.
But Siakam had it going to start this game, so I anticipate him getting some decent looks. We're going to see who he's matched with. Champagny is on him now.
Gets free to the baseline, and before the pass is held up, so two quick ones on Julian Champagny of the Spurs. On cap right now for Indiana, you've got Siakam, Turner, McConnell, Neesmith, and Ben Shepherd. And for San Antonio, it's Castle, Wembanyama, Paul, Champagny, and Mamu Kelishvili. Sandro, the man from Seton Hall. Here's Mathurin, works it out to McConnell. Turner, that's his spot for three, and it's way off.
You're right, though. That's it. He has a great ability from that pick and pop game at the three-point line. Miles Turner.
Made 8 threes in the game last week at Detroit, which matched a career best. Wembanyama, high post. Mamu Kelishvili. And there's Shepherd flying in for the rebound. Siakam nearly lost it to Mamu. Shepherd for three. Around but out. Indiana now 4 of maybe 5 for 15 3-point range. Dribble and kick to Castle, and that's out. Mamu Kelishvili for Paul for three. And they go for 2 on that trip. Nice pace, though.
Yeah, nice pace going up and down, and they were converting in the first quarter. They were a little stale here to start the second as far as converting. Well, turnover on it. Yeah.
Not too much. Pacers with their second turnover. Champagny trying to throw it off McConnell. Bounce out of bounds at first. And it's a loose ball foul, says Brent Barnaky. And there's Castle saying that he wants them to challenge. Maybe a little early for that. And Castle picks it up. That's his first already 3 on the Spurs.
Let's see if the Pacers settle down, get a good quality look. Here's TJ.
Right to the rim for 2.
Too easy right there. Too easy. Connell with the first, got that little handoff, and it's gone.
Here's 0-4, his first points in Paris. Wembanyama against Siakam with space. And Siakam, he made the point earlier. I mean, it looks like a wing defender when you're against Wembanyama. And then you look at Siakam, he's what, 6'8"?
Yes. Or you saw Miles Turner at 6'11". But what throws you off about Wemby, or what blows you away, is his handle of the basketball. He dances like a guard.
Offloads the ball. Castle, extra feed, Champagny. Nice entry, but it's knocked away by Mathurin and stolen.
Castle's got to look to shoot, even though he's not super confident in three.
Shepherd short on another corner three, but Champagny with the fingertips bobbles. Couple of buttered croissants, too many. Stay with Indiana. Very good. Between the cheeses, the chocolate, the bread, and the man hours on the ground, it's got to be a feast for some out there. Siakam turnaround is good.
Most effective play that the Pacers have had here in this first half. Well, Topman coming in knocking down shots, but Siakam's ability to do damage in the paint.
Indiana 40% shooting in the paint, a 14-12 edge on San Antonio. 33-30 Pacers. And McConnell with the steal. Telegraph to ball. Mathurin the other way for the flush. The Spurs will take a timeout. Indiana by 5.
Well, Mitch Johnson certainly wants to talk about it. To stay in this game against this good Pacer team, you better take care of the ball.
Nous avons la chance d'avoir parmi nous quelques-uns des meilleurs basketteurs français de l'histoire. Je compte sur vous pour les accueillir comme il se doit. Il a évolué pendant 12 saisons sur les parquets NBA et remporte le titre en 2011 avec les Dallas Mavericks. Il évoluera ensuite au sein de la franchise de l'Indiana entre 2012 et 2016, où il portera le maillot des Pacers près de 300 fois. Il est originaire de Rouen. Merci d'accueillir Yann Mahimi. Double champion NCAA, meilleur joueur du Final Four NCAA en 2006, il est devenu 2 fois All-Star NBA et a été à 3 reprises membre de la All Defensive Team, meilleur défenseur de la Ligue en 2014. Voici Jukes Joachim Noah. Il a brillé sur la scène internationale et a joué 14 saisons en NBA. Auréolé du prix de la meilleure progression en 2006, alors qu'il évoluait chez les Phoenix Suns, il remporte le Graal, le titre NBA en 2014 avec les San Antonio Spurs. Champion d'Europe 2013 et capitaine historique de l'équipe de France, Captain Babak, Boris Thiaw. Mesdames et messieurs, vos applaudissements pour nos légendes du basket français et de la NBA, Yann Mahimi, Joachim Noah et Boris Thiaw.
Inside a core arena for the latest Paris games. The Pacers, an 8-0 run here in the second quarter. And Capper, they lead the Spurs by 5 with 9:21 left.
Don't need to see it. In between the quarter breaks, they bring out some of the famous French players that played in the NBA. We saw Boris Diaw, Joachim Noah, Yann Mahimi, and those were the guys that really kind of got it going, right?
How about these two?
How about this?
How you doing, Chris? Yes, pleasure. Nice to meet you too. Oscar Robertson. Okay, all right, man. HB just told me he didn't know if you knew. He said, of course he knows. I know exactly.
The pride that those guys taking the education and the history of the game and then passing it on to guys like Wemby.
That was terrific, though. That was terrific. Watching Chris Paul making sure that everybody knew, or Wemby knew, who Oscar Robertson was, and he knew him.
Chris Paul's 39. In about 30 years, he's going to be courtside again.
That's right.
He's going to say, you know what this guy did back in the day?
Little contact right there and a hard closeout to Wemby. Victor Wembanyama by Miles Turner. Again, when you shoot like he does, you want to be aggressive getting out there. A shot fake or a show and go, and the hip of Turner got in the way.
And that's Turner's first. And number 2 on Indiana this quarter. Spurs with 3 fouls. Wembanyama, you think about the size, 7'3", 235. Rookie of the year last year, but how much better in year 2. There he is now, behind the back. Washington gets it back and slams it down. Woo.
Even his mistakes, he can clean up and make good things happen.
He's flying. McConnell to beelines the rim and scores.
He can really go. That's 2 times he's been able to do that. Little throw and goes with the bigs.
Barnes, sneaky, gets wide open for the dunk.
Little failure to communicate, I think, on defense in transition that time.
Fast break points. Spurs 10. Indiana with 2. Catherine for the Pacers, working around McConnell now with 8 to shoot. He's getting comfortable. Turn of the cut and the slam found by McConnell.
That was a great read, right? He got Wemby to come over to him so he could just drop it down to Turner.
Wembanyama with the hand in his face or at his chin. So he's made 3 threes. He's 15 points. Wembanyama 6 for 10 shooting.
Single coverage on Siakam.
This is over the rim on the late double.
Yep.
Look out. McConnell makes it work, doesn't he? Just relentless. Barnes, a veteran. Here's Mamukelashvili across the paint and short on the switch to the left. Mathurin right into Wembanyama, no whistle, and count the basket.
Wemby going for a charge right there. I don't know how to make him finish over me.
Benedict Mathurin now with 6 points. The Spurs, 3 games under 500. Wemby jumps, finds Paul for 3, knocks it down.
How about that? Now Wemby gives you a nice assist.
It's a second. Mathurin clothesline and gets the bounce.
That's such a physical game, does Benjamin Mathurin. Can throw contact play right through it.
8 points from Mathurin, 4 of 5. Indiana shooting 47% and a steal by Shepard. They really like the contributions he's brought to the rotation. Just like that. Yeah, miscommunication. Turner didn't make the cut, and they throw it out.
Give another look at Wemby right there. Gives the idea that he's going up, and he, among all the other things he can do, he can set up teammates. Great feel for the game.
Paul will get a breather. You know, Capper, there have been so many great passing big men over the years between Jokic and Arvydas Sabonis.
Yeah, that's a great call.
Will Chamberlain was in many ways, but it's what Wembanyama does at 7-3 on the move.
On the move and on the perimeter. I mean, it's a different style.
Picked up by Tom Wembanyama. Devin Vassell slings it. Wembanyama doubled, and he's fouled. Neesmith came to help Turner. And Aaron Neesmith picks it up. That's his first, and the Pacers, their third of the quarter. It's been a main emphasis, though, Tim, defense this year under Rick Carlisle.
Absolutely, and they've vastly improved. I mean, they've, really, really improved. Siakam's made a difference all year, but Nimhard's ability, just I think collectively, they have a very good shell going right there, hustling.
Jones scores against Nimhard.
Not an easy finish. That was crafty, and he had to get the playoff before the clock went down.
Indiana, though, won 6 in a row at one point. Right now, it's 8 of 9 wins as Turner goes in and out for 3. And during that 6-game win streak, they had the best defensive rating during that stretch.
Defense, and then dropping it off to Johnson.
Montrez-nous un petit peu comment. Maintenant, de Nike Fit Camp. Ouais, on s'ambiance un peu, tranquille. Nice stickers. The Nike gear, ladies and gentlemen, in Paris. C'est l'heure de la Nike Fit Camp. Merci beaucoup.
De Big avec Everyone. Still, he did.
Cohen, Tim Capstraw with you. Victor Wembanyama with 15 points. 30,000. Boards, 1 5-on-5, 1 3-on-3, built to specifications designed by Victor himself, but no Wembanyama.
That's very cool.
They're your leading scorers. They're going to combine 2 free throws taken so far.
A pretty clean game.
Yeah. Indiana 2 for 2, and the Spurs have yet to attempt a free throw.
Tyrese Halliburton relatively quiet. Sohan's going to guard match with him. Space for Neesmith.
Here's Bryant. His good pickup.
Yes.
Issa Nimhard is short for 3. Ray Jones tries to push the pace for the Spurs. Vassell trail 3, and that's been off the handoff.
Exactly. Pushing the pace. The defense wasn't set.
Play continues as Bryant spills. So Vassell with 10 now. Halford step back. Nails the 3.
He is so good at that. Creating that separation with that push shot of his.
Nice find. Johnson triple. It's way short. So the Pacers at controls. Nimhard from the elbow is good.
Defense on their heels that time and pulled up.
And for Nimhard, his first field goal in points. He's got 2. They're back and forth, 48-47 Indiana, with under 4 left in the first half. There's Jones for 3, and that's good. The answer for the Spurs with their 8-3 thus far.
Well, you know, it's a great equalizer. They're getting comfortable behind that line. Trey Jones with a good contribution.
And hard off the miss Banker shooting 2. Jones with the personal. And that's his first. And the Spurs, their 4th of the quarter.
Trey Jones with 7 points. He's got 4 assists. He's only played 6 minutes. He's really been impactful for the San Antonio Spurs. This guy, Andrew Nimhard's been really impactful for the Pacers' production and how they've really come on this season with his unbelievable defensive ability, offensive confidence, can play both guard positions. I think Siakam being there for the entire season, and I think Tyrese Halliburton, let's be honest, he's finally back where he was to start the season last year.
And they missed a guy like Nimhard. He was out 14 games with the left knee soreness and inflammation. Well, it was a slow start, too, for Indiana.
Well, and, you know, you didn't have Neesmith for a long period of time also.
They were 9-14 as Johnson gets the roll. Pacers now are sitting at 5 over 500, 24-19 entering these Paris games. Back and forth display so far. Toppin posting up. Work it around. Bryant for 3 off the heel of the rim, and there's Sohan for the rebound. Largest lead for either side, 5 earlier for Indiana. Final 3 minutes of the first half. Vassell with the pull-up, nails it off the dribble.
Impressive the way he elevates and just confidently shoots the basketball. Thomas Bryant wants it down low.
There's that move again. Halliburton with the triple.
You're right. The quick crossover right into the shot by Tyrese Halliburton. He owns that.
Third 3, he's got 11 points.
Very
453 Spurs.
Very entertaining, right? Just change of scenery hasn't hurt the quality of play.
Barnes up fake. Sohan bobbled a bit. Vassell loves that shot. Instead drives, steps, and misses. Third chance, and Johnson with the cleanup.
Yeah, Keldon Johnson, one of the elite offensive rebounders at about 6'5" in the NBA, getting on the glass again.
And Rick Carlisle with the timeout for Indiana. So a 3-point Spurs lead, and they do this now with Wembanyama off the floor, which if you're Mitch Johnson, interim coach for Greg Popovich, you'll love to see from your team.
Good call. I'm impressed with the Spurs right now. They're doing a very good job. Confident. Trey Jones came in on the floor, played well. Keldon Johnson, their bench play has been solid. Coming in with confidence. Devin Vassell, his ability to make plays. Siakam early was a problem, right? I mean, you're going on the blocks. I would be surprised if the Pacers don't go back to him some down there. Especially when they have Miles Turner and they can space Wembanyama and get him out off the floor. But he's been quiet. This was early in the game. Since then, hasn't got the same amount of touches.
So you're looking kind of like Siakam too. And obviously, the years in Toronto, the championship in 2019, he was most improved that year. Enters this season, two-time All-Star, plays big minutes. And last year, they make the move for him in January, and then they re-sign him for 4 years and $188 million. And the Pacers essentially brought back the exact same roster that made the conference finals last year and being swept by the Celtics.
No, they are a good team. That's why you were surprised early in the season when they weren't playing as well as they could. But what is interesting to me is that they've kind of adjusted their identity in one season, the Pacers. You know, they were so explosive offensively last year. But the combat, I think, it makes them dangerous as the season goes on, as they've become so good on the defensive side of the floor. Haven't seen it all that well tonight. Spurs have done a very good job against them.
Rick Carlisle with the starting five out there, including Nimhard, who left his feet. Found Turner, missed the dunk.
Well, Wemby came back and he went on the play. His hand was in there. A little carelessness in transition by the Spurs.
There a turnover compared to 3 for the Pacers. So it's Halliburton, Nimhard, Mathurin, Turner, and Siakam. Jones screened off by Siakam, rolls, catches, fires, and misses. Good looks from 15 feet away. Vassell with Sohan, Johnson, Wembanyama, as well as Jones. Final $132 first half from Paris. Trey Jones spinning out of a double to Sohan. Keldon Johnson lost it. Mathurin catches and hits the 3.
Again, those points off turnovers, right? That's kind of an unforced error on Keldon Johnson, and then the Pacers can just answer so quickly.
Well, Mathurin's been efficient. He's 5 for 6.
Important that the Spurs close out this quarter effective the last minute. They played well.
Wemby fakes, finds Sohan, jumps in with it, scores.
How about that? The agility at 7'3" in that delivery. Off the bounce.
3 assists for Wemby as Nimhard answers for Indiana.
They left the ball. Nimhard make you pay.
Look at this back and forth, answer upon answer. 42 seconds. They have a chance at a 2-for-1. Jones is stripped, gets it back, ducks through, and the scoop missed. Let's see what Indiana does. Turner, corner tray, off the heel. And a tip to Sohan, about 2 seconds between the clocks, and the Spurs will wait for the last shot. Vassell at the top of the Eiffel Tower here at Florida Arena. He sets the screen. Vassell waits, finds Jones. 3 to shoot down for San Antonio. Vassell makes the pass. The runner is good to beat the clock. 0.6 to go. Halliburton won't get a shot away. And at the break, the Spurs with a 3-point lead at 60-57 in Paris.
Yeah, very entertaining first half of basketball in Paris. The San Antonio Spurs really stepping up and playing good basketball against a really hot Pacer team.
Restez bien avec nous dans quelques instants de Part-Time Show avec Very White. Une performance de beatbox à ne surtout pas manquer. À tout de suite.
I'm really wondering what's going through the head of someone. He could have done better. That's an A. The Eiffel Tower. Not bad. A little skinny. I see the technique, but you can tell he hasn't seen it very often. Well, I thought Sandro had been to France before, but it doesn't translate to drawing. It looks like a tent. Oh, that's crazy. He's never heard of the Eiffel Tower. So it looks like a cave with a kid on top. But it's actually not bad. Okay, this one is probably the best so far. Oh, wow, this is the best. This is the best. Yeah. You know, like, I mean, they did not try to put too many details. Okay, this one's very good. Yeah. This one's pretty good. Like, if you showed that to somebody, they would recognize it. That's Chris. He told me he drew me next to the tower, but I couldn't tell that it was me though. You could have at least done the jersey, but you can tell it's me. The tower is alright though. It's probably the third best. Man, I can't get over this. I'm gonna frame it. Enjoying my roots, you know, where I grew up, so it's the best thing. And being able to give back a little bit to the kids that are in situations similar to what I was, you know. Meeting the court 24/7 available. It's a real happiness, you know. It's really, really precious, you know. It really touches me. Basketball is on fire here in France. They come into the league, they're ready to play, they understand how to play. I think everyone has room for improvement. We're always scouting good players, and I think Paris and France is a great place to start. Yeah, we're here today at NBA in the classroom, just getting to hang out with some kids, do some different things. We have a little art station.
First thing that comes to mind when you say France, good vibes. Right? Paris. I still with the French accent. Louvre, Eiffel Tower. Eiffel Tower. Food.
What kind
Food. Crepes. Baguette. Croissant.
Gold medal, because I won a gold medal this year in the Olympics.
French or not? Okay, bet. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. French.
Yes.
French. No. Yes.
Yes.
No. No. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I'm
gonna go no.
No. No. French.
Yes.
No.
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 No. But she's from Canada?
Oh, it sounded French. Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Cameroon, though.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not from France, but.
He speaks French, but no. Cameroonian.
He's from Cameroon. Damn.
Oh, this might be a trick question, so I'm gonna say no.
Yes. No. Yes. No. Wait, French fries is no? Why they call it French fries?
The first French NBA champion,
Tricolo? Onitoya?
had to be TP.
Was it Tony?
Oh, Tony Parker.
4, 3, 5. 4. I said 4.
Ooh. I would say 12.
5 or 6. 11. Dang.
7?
More than 10?
11 probably. 13. 15. 14.
14. That's huge.
Is it 18,000?
15,324.
15,900. I've played there many times.
15887.
You nailed it.
I knew it.
3.
4.
2.
No.
Vivian, Vic.
It's got to be more than just Vic and CD.
CD and Vic.
That's it.
And that's it.
Anyone else? Bonjour, je m'appelle Jamie.
No. Jerry does speak French.
How long are we out there?
5, 7.
We're getting 1 a day. At least 2 a day.
Unlimited. As many as I'm allowed to. Not on game day.
I intend to, consume a lot of those things. I'm trying to stay away from croissants. I might try one.
Draw the Eiffel Tower?
I can't draw. I really can't draw anything.
No judges in here, right?
This is bad.
Please start.
This is terrible, man.
Time.
This looks like a Christmas tree. E for effort.
That's about a solid 6 right there. I'm trying.
That's pretty good for 5 seconds. 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
I had the vision, just the execution was bad.
I'm sorry.
Something here. With a tectonic shift, the ground for battles for intensify adversaries. Serendipitous collisions, vicious reaction that you must see to. World's leading minds have many names. Seismic events, the National Basketball Rivals Week. Do not miss it.
Développement ouvert aux joueuses et joueurs âgés de 6 à 18 ans. Et cette semaine, la France accueille le 3e camp d'entraînement ici à Paris, où des joueurs venus de tous horizons sont rassemblés pour des matchs, des compétitions autour des fondamentaux du basketball et des expériences culturelles. La philosophie des écoles de basket de la NBA consiste à partager la passion pour ce sport avec les jeunes athlètes du monde entier en enseignant ses fondamentaux, ses valeurs et le bien-être qu'il apporte dans un environnement positif et amusant. Cette approche renforce la culture du basketball chez les jeunes, décuple les leçons de vie et encourage les jeunes joueurs à réussir autant sur qu'en dehors du terrain. À ce jour, des écoles de basketball de la NBA ont été lancées dans 20 pays et nous sommes ravis de vous annoncer ce soir qu'une école de basket NBA arrive en France. Le premier camp se tiendra du Alors restez connectés au site officiel et aux réseaux sociaux pour réserver votre place. Et vous les voyez actuellement dans l'écran. Merci d'accueillir à l'Accor Arena les joueurs et les entraîneurs de l'école de basket de la NBA pour le match de ce soir. La NBA souhaite remercier ses partenaires pour leur soutien à l'occasion des NBA Paris Games 2025 présentés par Tissot. Tissot. Emirates. La NBA et la Fédération française de basketball, en collaboration avec l'UNSS, accueillent cette semaine la plus grande semaine junior NBA et junior WNBA jamais organisée à l'échelle mondiale. Une véritable fête du basketball qui s'étale sur plusieurs jours, dépassant les 8000 participants et les 600 entraîneurs en provenance de France et plus largement de l'Europe et du Moyen-Orient. Dans le cadre de cette semaine, une compétition de 3 contre 3 rassemblant des équipes masculines et féminines composées de joueurs âgés de 15 à 18 ans a été organisée à Toulouse, Nancy et Paris. 200 garçons et filles ont participé à ce tournoi qui se termine aujourd'hui par une finale à la NBA House et les équipes gagnantes sont avec nous ce soir. Regardez, elles sont là. Merci d'applaudir chaleureusement les gagnants du tournoi Junior NBA et Fédération française de basket. Tournoi 3 contre 3. Bravo! Ce soir, c'est toute l'Accor Arena qui est de couleur de la NBA. Découvrez notamment les NBA Stores, les boutiques NBA officielles situées dans le grand hall dans les coursives au port.
that, you have Turner, Jokic, Devin Booker, and Kevon Looney, each with 10 years with their respective teams.
And the Spurs keep up this three-point rate. They are shooting it exceptionally well. 10 of 22 from behind the three-point line.
45%. Ball offloads to Sell, chased by Mathurin. And Castle stripped. Was it lost or knocked out of bounds? And Paul saying, let's jump it. But the officials will get together. Let's take a look. And Zach Zarba says, let's jump it.
Very good officiating crew right here. Zach, led by Zach Zarba, Brent Barnaky, and Jenna Schroeder.
Zach Zarba's from Midwood in Brooklyn. I think he's the only guy playing even closely that his bread is as good as the bread in Paris.
How about that?
You go out there, the Ferro's Pizza, it's pretty darn good. Spurs win the jump. Barnes sees an open lane to the basket for the lefty finish.
Still doing it. Harrison Barnes is still getting it done after all these years. That was a crafty move.
And all four of his shots, 9 points for Barnes. Siakam stripped by Vassell, but Mathurin missing the three.
That defended well on the interior by Vassell. Here he is kind of answer on this end.
Faked, couldn't get free. Reset the ball. Crossover, kick. Castle with space, drives the lane, and it's fouled by Turner. And the rookie will get a pair at the line. The Spurs' first free throws today in Paris.
It's been a clean game, only 4 total free throws by the Pacers also. How about this guy, though, Stephon Castle? The job he's done so far this season, getting the opportunity to play a lot of minutes over the last 5-6 weeks and just really stepping up. And hey, you look at the rookie ladders and who's the best guy, who's the best young player, first-year player in the NBA, and an awful lot of people think it's this guy right now, it's Stephon Castle. Hasn't knocked down the three ball, and that will come in his career. But boy, is he good at attacking the basket, making plays in the interior or in the pull-up game.
And a lot of people looked at last year's draft and said, not a great class. It's weak. There's not a lot of depth, but they drafted fourth and he started 24 games. They got a rotational guy, and you know what? Sometimes good draft or bad draft, that's effective.
And well, the thing about Castle is, too, he's a two-way player. He's already a good defensive player. And again, his deep shooting will come. He's a terrific guy.
14 to shoot for Indiana. Pacers shooting 43%. Him hard against Wembanyama. Almost an ankle breaker that time. Turner posting up. Drives the lane and scores and a foul. And Miles Turner with a chance at 3 for Indiana.
Well, Wemby was lurking, right? I thought he was going to get a piece of that shot, but Miles Turner was able to find a way to get it off the glass. Here he is again, getting some decent post position. Gives a little leap, a little fake to the outside. The pass fake, I think, froze Wemby. He was able to get an angle to the basket.
Yeah, misses the free throw. It was Turner, twice the NBA's block champion.
Huge key for the Spurs. How they're going to take care of the basketball. And this guy, putting the ball in this guy's hands will certainly help.
Wembanyama off the mark. Barnes, the gentle tap in.
You are so right. A soft touch by Harrison Barnes.
He's perfect. 5 for 5. 11 points for Barnes. And a timeout here. The Spurs by 8 in Paris, early third on NBA TV.
On va danser dans quelques instants ensemble avec la Rebel Band. Et juste avant, avec mes copines du derrière, je vous rappelle que le boutique est toujours disponible du côté de la boutique à l'extérieur de l'Accor Arena si vous voulez vous faire plaisir ce soir ou dans le week-end. Ça, c'est toujours dispo. Et avec mes cousines venues des États-Unis. On va danser maintenant, s'il vous plaît. Paris, je veux de l'ambiance ce soir. Revenue Dance Camp, it's time to dance. Come on! Montrez-moi vos plus beaux moves, s'il vous plaît. Let's go! You have to eat, but you have to dance now. Vous pouvez manger, mais vous pouvez danser. Guys, you are on the screen. Yes! I love your move. J'adore. Oh-oh. Uh-oh. Bienvenue dans les meilleurs danseurs sont à Paris ce soir. Ok, on a un fan des Spurs. Son père est fan des Spurs. Oui, le moulin à café, ça marche aussi. Vous avez de super moves ce soir, Paris. Oh-oh. Voilà. Salut. Vous êtes vraiment... Vous pouvez vous applaudir, tout le monde, tout le monde, tout le monde.
Rightfully so, a hot ticket for fans in France to see Victor Wembanyama in an NBA uniform. They watched him with the Metropolitans '92. Maybe some caught him during the Olympics in his run to the gold medal game with Paris. But right now, even as we look and listen to Miles Turner talk about Wembanyama in a moment, the sights from Paris.
Left! Go attack! Go attack! We got P! Center P! Center P! And one! Guys, let's start working. Let's get it.
And it wasn't in one for Miles Turner. Right now, he's scored 9 points. And better start to this third quarter. But Capper, we were talking moments ago about just the lure of Wembanyama in Paris and the young fans with the jerseys and the signs. It's got to be what they've been years for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the great. He's obviously going to be such an impactful, great player for a long time.
On him hard, almost got it over to go.
Again, though, he just like he doesn't block that shot with the intimidation factor. You have to hurry it up.
Knocks down the three, Victor Wembanyama.
Excellent job. A little kickback, got into the paint. Nice setup by Chris Paul.
Turner rolls, leans in, denied. A standing block for Wembanyama.
Both ends now, Wemby getting it done.
That's his second block of the day. Ball splits, kicks, Vassell, one dribble inside the arc. And Paul with the rebound.
Chris Paul putting on a nice display out here, setting up teammates. Running the show the way he can.
They're struggling on the glass. Spurs a plus 13. Wemby, the catch off balance, banks it in. On 13-point lead, Indiana was down 3 at the break. Spurs outscored them by 10 this quarter. And Mathurin, though, with a nice answer for the Pacers. They needed that.
Absolutely.
But Mathurin now with 10 points. Spurs about to make a couple of changes. With Sohan coming on along with Johnson. Wembanyama flicks it out. Barnes for 3. That's good. Barnes still perfect. 6 for 6 with 2 threes.
How about Wemby, though? He's making threes. He's blocking shots. He's assisting plays. He's finishing at the basket.
4 assists for Wembanyama. Turner right at him. And again, it doesn't take much, does it? Onto the shot, lob to the rim, and Castle. A rare miscue by the point guard. Chris Paul.
He wants that one back, no doubt about it. You see another look here. How about that pass back by Paul? Just put it on a platter for Wemby to knock it down, and that got him going offensively, defensively, assisting, doing a little bit of everything. Victor Wembanyama.
And they take him out, 5 minutes or 7 minutes into the first and third quarters. A little smaller. Bring on Johnson and Sohan. Mathurin off the screen.
If the Pacers can take advantage of doing something in the paint right now.
Hard bounce pass. There it is. Mathurin down the lane for the stuff.
Well, that's what you want to do, right? To get Wemby out of the game, try to make something happen with some cutting and plays at the basket, or at least be a threat.
86 the 69 Spurs.
Pacers a little zone defense right now, shaking it up, trying to disrupt the rhythm of the Spurs.
So he pulls it out with some room. Lefty shot missed over Turner. So and the ambidextrous look that time. Halliburton working around to Mathurin. Takes the pass, gets inside again, and scores.
Yeah, the fake of the pass gave him an open, lane to the basket. He was able to attack.
And Mathurin taking advantage without Wemby inside.
Évidemment, la chose d'agréable ce soir, 5 Hall of Famers, 5 légendes du basketball. Qui l'année 2002, 6 fois All-Star, il cumule 2 bagues de champion. Sur la scène internationale, il fait partie des basketteurs les plus titrés, avec 3 médailles olympiques, 1 en bronze, 2 en argent, champion du monde en 2006, triple champion d'Europe. Espagnol, Pau Gasol. C'est l'un des 2 seuls joueurs à avoir remporté l'Euroleague, l'or olympique et le titre NBA. 6e homme de l'année en 2008, il remporte 4 titres avec les Spurs. Il est argentin, Manu Ginóbili. C'est l'un des plus grands pivots de l'histoire du basketball. Il totalise 10 sélections au All-Star Game NBA et est élu MVP de la saison régulière en 1995. Double champion NBA, double médaillé d'or olympique et double intronisé au Hall of Fame, The Admiral David Robinson. Champion olympique 1960, il a été sélectionné 12 fois au All-Star Game NBA. Champion en 71 avec les Bucks de Milwaukee. C'est le premier joueur de l'histoire à avoir une ligne de stats en triple-double sur une saison entière. C'est l'un des basketteurs les plus récompensés de l'histoire. Il est double Hall of Famer. Il est à Paris ce soir. The Big O, Oscar Robertson. Et enfin, élu 2 fois meilleur basketteur européen.
This is wonderful. The stage set at a core arena for the Hall of Famers. Yeah, the Admiral David Robinson, there's Tony Parker, the Big O, Oscar Robertson, Manu Ginóbili, and Al Gasol. A salute to 5 of the game's greatest.
That is a special picture right there, seeing those guys together. Wow.
Al Gasol, many forget, was a Spur for 3 seasons. Not Oscar Robertson. I mean, I don't know what the genes are for him and a guy like Clyde Frazier, but they look just like they did 10 years ago.
I agree.
You know, it's funny. You know, Chris Paul's going to be in the Hall of Fame. The Spurs have got a lot of guys over the years who have maybe appeared in uniform 1 or 2 years you barely remember, but have Hall of Fame careers like Paul and Dominique Wilkins, Al Gasol to an extent. Dennis Rodman was a Spur for a couple of years. Dave Cowens was a coach. Moses Malone.
How about that?
Played for the Spurs his last year. A sell no looker hits off the fingertips of Sohan.
I thought that was a very good timeout by Mitch Johnson, the coach of the Spurs, to regroup his team. I think they're playing good basketball, but there was a couple easy attacks to the basket by Mathurin. And the Spurs, taking care of the basketball, though, will be critical. They're up to 10 turnovers right now. Hoppen wants to post up.
Spurs led by 13. Mathurin with back-to-back buckets and a turnover by Indiana, thrown away by Nembhard and Jones. A bit of delay by Toppin. It was posting for 2.
Ray Jones was very impactful in the first half. At 5 assists, he's up to 9 points right now. Spurs went to their bench and got a nice boost.
The battle off the ball between Bryant and Sohan.
Right? That's a little steel cage match.
A little switch against Nembhard. Toppin, faced off the line, and he throws it away. Free to shoot. Halliburton to the corner, blocked, and Vassell saved it in. Off the block shot, Jones. For Johnson, nails the three for the Spurs. Indiana with the timeout.
What a response by the San Antonio Spurs, right? Mitch Johnson with a quick timeout, really about a minute and a half ago. They force some turnovers. They get out and run, making some plays, and excellent job. And you feel like the Pacers are maybe going to make a little bit of a run, maybe get back into it. But I thought Trey Jones put it on the platter. Nice there for Keldon Johnson. He also got a steal and a finish. And this young Spurs team, now they got the experience of Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes, but there's a lot of young players out there. They are playing extremely well.
14-point lead. Now that last timeout, a terrific response you alluded to.
I thought it was an excellent timeout by Mitch Johnson. You know, it was only a couple of baskets, and they still had a 9-point lead, but I thought he really regrouped it. You know, it did an excellent job. It's an excellent timeout. Again, taking care of the basketball, though, critical for, you know, both of these teams, but certainly for the Spurs. They've got 11 turnovers. They want to make sure they take care of it. Pacers only with 4, but you saw how the Spurs just capitalized on one of them.
Indiana's been playing at a high level recently. Finish of 8 of 9, winning on the road too with a lot of consistency. And right now moving up slowly the Eastern Conference standings with a roster that's very much intact from last year. But what the Spurs have done to begin this quarter, they were up by 3 at the break, outscoring Indiana by 11 to begin the third.
Yeah, they're just playing terrific basketball. I mean, they've got 29 assists right now the Spurs have.
On 35 made back.
That is the way they play the game. It's always been their style.
I mean, you get to 30 assists before the end of the third quarter in any game.
Yeah, well, I've seen Stephon Castle and Vassell doing a good job defensively, challenging shots. Curry's again.
Will blow by.
Giving McConnell a lot of room right now.
Was down 9 for 28. Vassell the 3. That's good. And Kevin Vassell is 4-3. The lead's 19. Naismith bumped. He throws it up and hits it in a foul. Woo, tough move by Naismith.
Well, the Pacers need something, right? The way the Spurs are playing, and Aaron Naismith, again, he sat 35 games this year. He is back.
Second year out of Houston.
Carlisle wants to shoot.
Kept now 35 games, third game back, and he hits this free throw. Okay, he's played 11 minutes. They've really restricted him in his first couple of games back.
There's some great minutes being played with.
Eight in the third.
This game out. It's a really good read right here, right? Read the eyes of the passer right there. Got the inside.
Two-way player. rebuilding the draft.
Right.
But now he's really beginning to blossom at the age of
Impressive defensively. Defends at the floor.
Hey, look at the clock.
Floor.
Now take a look. I think he was there.
What a all-around performance.
The Wemby Show in Paris.
Ils sont en train de se préparer juste derrière moi. Le power pack des Pacers et Boomer. C'est le must du must en termes de basket acrobatique. Est-ce qu'on peut faire du bruit pour le power pack des Pacers et Boomer, s'il vous plaît? Okay, guys, let's go. On va tranquillement s'échauffer pour le premier round. 2 trampolines et 7. OK. Un petit 360. Oh! Et la passe D derrière le cercle. Paris, est-ce que tu en veux plus? Non. Paris, est-ce que tu en veux plus? Let's go, guys. Boomer, au niveau des passes décisives. Est-ce que Paris, tu peux faire plus de bruit? Est-ce que Paris, tu peux faire plus de bruit? Est-ce que Paris, tu peux faire plus de bruit? Let's go, guys! Petit salto avant tranquille, le petit dunk après. Oh!
Pacers NBA Paris game.
Minute. We just witnessed at the end of that third quarter. Brilliant. Here he is right now.
But he sees the floor.
Oh, man.
Makes the right decision. Champagne guarding one-on-one, and Mathurin flips it up and in. But there were a couple times where he had an open shot and he missed the game. He's got the green light. Here he is now. The pull-up jumper is good. Up the dribble. 17 feet. You know,
that's great. You know it's got to be a big deal for him to be playing at this level at Paris.
Stealing him hard for Mathurin as Paul fell asleep.
And Mitch Johnson's done a very good job with his timeouts, the coach of the Spurs, and he needs one right now just to keep his team composed.
This copyrighted broadcast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the NBA.
Beckham Jr. T-Land et Jamar Chase. Faites du bruit pour les trois joueurs de NFL. Qui passe sur les écrans. On va ensemble shooter pour le NBA 2K. Talent, my man, could you shoot the best view? Okay, let's go. Perfect. Est-ce que tu vas accompagner ou pas? Comment? Okay, one more time. One more time. Go. Perfect. Liam, mon pote, c'est à toi maintenant. Ça va être à toi pour que shoot, que tu restes avec Okay. Uh-oh, let's do part of the uh-oh, let's do part of okay. Oh, you did it.
Victor Wembanyama show in Paris today. Wemby with 26, 11 rebounds, 5 blocks, and 6 assists. And Tim Capstraw, Spurs shooting 61% from 3. They're 15.
Out and attack and make some plays. They have some dominating statistics. 45 to 22 in rebounding, 34 assists so far. This is the value of Chris Paul. You're worried about turnovers right now, right? Because you got 16, and you know the Pacers are coming at you, full court pressure, and yet that couple quick turnovers right there. It's a good timeout by Mitch Johnson, the coach of the Spurs. Let's see.
Yeah, they got the shot clock set up after the inbounds was deflected.
You hear Zach Darby? Yep.
But you mentioned Paul and the Spurs being a young team. I think last year, Wembanyama's a rookie, and there have been many legends whose rookie years might have been good individually, but didn't lead to team success. You bring in Barnes, you bring in Paul, you add some veterans to a young group. And hey, in the West, as Wembanyama fires, this is the three. There's Champagne for another rebound. Wemby off glass, slams it down. No! Victor Wembanyama. That's what they came to see.
Absolutely. You would have got a piece of that.
But it's all coming together with a couple of veterans and great young players. Oh, late whistle by Jim Schroeder. By Champagne, now by Matthews for shoot two.
What a great job Wemby did, though, utilizing the backboard. He was crossed up on the play. Here he's crossed up. He's kind of caught in between. So he throws it off the backboard and then just goes in against it. Right? A little bit awkward right there. What an intelligent play by Victor Wembanyama. Is there anything more he can show us?
Well, it's like when the great players are unpredictable, and you're out there, you got three defenders there. What do? You don't know. And then there it is. He's going to make that play to himself.
Yeah, unbelievable.
He's France's MVP, that's for sure. He's 26 in the gold medal game in this building and the loss to the U.S. 111.87 Spurs. Led by as many as 25. Top for three is too strong. But Matthew with the rebound. Yama. Penny, Barnes. There's Castle off balance. Beat it in.
A little deceleration there, but Stephon Castle showing what he's been doing lately. Outstanding attacking the basket.
Nice slip by Turner. Big rim blocker from for that guy. In that spot. And easy fun by Castle. Wembanyama with 30. Nimhard up the cell. He lost the dribble. I think that's on the. Let's see how they judge it with 8:45 left.
Here it is, a little confusion. You better not leave that guy up.
5 blocks and 6 assists in 29 minutes. Victor Wembanyama off the screen. How turning the bounce to Turner. Comes up short. And Turner from 3 now. 2 for 9. Struggle. Mathurin give him an open 3 and he nails it. He stumbles. Got a good look for 3, but that misses. Catch and shoot. Face. Barnes. Bobbles gets it back and scores.
How about that for a pass, though? Just this feel for the game. Unselfish and just delivered it again. So special. What a treat it is watching that guy, Victor Wembanyama in Paris.
plus vous faites du bruit, plus on vous distribue des cadeaux. Ah. Give me a t-shirt. Give me a t-shirt. No. T-shirt. Plus fort Paris, plus fort Paris, plus fort Paris. S'il te plaît. Paris, plus fort que ça. Ok. Yes.
Basketball fans, ce soir, l'Arena est à guichet fermé. Vous êtes 15 935 et 15 935 fans de basket. Ça fait du bruit!
Myself, slam it home. So special. And we watch this offense right there. You know, his shot blocking, his passing. You alluded to it a few times. His passing has just blown me away. I mean, I've seen it enough, but this seems at a different level. He talked about taking his game and his team to another level in Paris.
You know, Tim, a lot of 5 years, if I the most hyped before Wembanyama, and yet to see this in his second year, he's played a year and a half in the NBA between the Christmas game, the triple doubles. He scored 50 earlier this year, and now this in Paris. The Pacers get the steal, and Walker finishes. He's met the moment.
Yes, very good.
Endless amounts.
Yeah, very good call. Right now, you're witnessing a great performance, and yet your team was going to make you uncomfortable.
18 Spurs turnovers, leading to 24 points. And that's maybe reasonably close. Castle for Jones, rip it out to Vassell for an open three. Nails it.
What a passing exhibition we've seen, not just by Wembanyama, but the entire roster of the Spurs.
Vassell's been Barnes the cleanup. And the finish.
You know, you're playing Spurs basketball in front of Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker and how good.
His first triple.
When that part of his game comes together, look out. He is a complete player.
125, 101 Spurs. Jarris Walker lost the ball on his footing, but it goes to Nembhard. Siaka missed the top, but a foul. Barnes will pick it up for San Antonio with 5:37 left. The Spurs, that's their first of the quarter, make it their second. And number 2 on Barnes. Well, as a coach, make a trip like this, and there's just so much responsibility beyond the court, rightfully so. The NBA in Paris for a week, you play 2 games, but you're at Carlisle, you've got tomorrow, and then early game compared to this one, Saturday, 5 o'clock local time, noon Eastern time. If you want to split, you've got to kind of put the pomp and circumstance to the side and fast.
Now, he'll get their attention tomorrow. He'll get their attention. Absolutely no doubt about it. And what makes this so impressive, think about how Pacers have been, arguably the best team in the NBA, certainly in the month of January. And again, they're 14-4 over their last 18. Both sides of the floor have been terrific for them.
Castle pulls up in short. And Neesmith back out there for Indiana with Siakam, Halliburton, Shepard, and Walker. But Barnes, the steal and the clutch and slam. He's 9 of 10 from the field.
Be a very good game for the Spurs to look to build on. I mean, not just Wembanyama. I mean, everybody's played well.
With under 5 left, Neesmith blocked by Kelishvili. And it looks like that's all she wrote for Victor Wembanyama tonight. Trey Jones circles underneath. Here's Castle again. And Castle now 1 of 3 from beyond the arc, but a steal, and Abu with the slam. Everybody getting into the act even late.
Absolutely. Spurs basketball on display. Again, against a terrific Indiana Pacer team playing at a very high level. Chris Paul and his team. Let's listen in.
We play them again in 2 days, right? Don't let somebody get their rhythm. You did it right there. Stay down. You know what I'm saying? And play them for the drive. You know what I'm saying? If we can do that the rest of the season, man, we got something.
That is why you have Chris Paul on your team. That was impressive. Right? Talking about don't let him get any momentum or get any rhythm. We play him again in 2 days. That's the type of veteran maturity that, young organizations need. That was outstanding sounds of the game right there.
I think about Paul, Tim, and I think about where he was with the Rockets, and he had arguably the worst contract in the NBA, or so people thought. They trade him to the Thunder for a bevy of picks. He takes them to the playoffs. They trade him to Phoenix. He nearly has an MVP season. He goes to the finals with the Suns. Here he is still. He's in his 20th year. He's not at that level necessarily, but he's still making a major impact on the team with a lot of potential in the West.
So I just thought, hearing those words, that was really special right there, and it just said a lot for his value to the San Antonio Spurs organization.
Walker with the fall away, no, but the cleanup's there for Thomas Bryant. His 18 came with the Spurs, or with the Pacers rather. They're coming over from Miami. Shot there from the Spurs, and CD Sissoko has seen some run here in Paris. Love to see the reserves get some time. I think this game, compared to where it was at the break, got away quickly from the Pacers as Bryant hands the 3 for Indiana.
We talked about it before, though, but Thomas Bryant's been a good pickup by the Pacers. He's played well for them. He spaces the floor. He's comfortable at the three-point line. He's got a little toughness about him. Certainly has a reserve big.
So for the Spurs, as Kelishvili scores, you've got Otto, Wesley, Malachi Branham, Zach Collins, and CD Sissoko. And for Indiana, it's Toppin, Brian, Shepard, Walker, and the rookie from Australia and Kansas, Johnny Furphy, is Toppin. This is the bunny.
38 assists for the Spurs in this game. And even in this period of time, they're looking for each other.
And the Spurs are 2 points shy of matching. They're 8 points shy of matching their most points in the game this season. We'll get there. Let's see if they get there with under 3 left. At 139, in a win earlier this year against the Wizards back in November. Wesley leaners off the mark, and Topic cleans it up. We're going to look back on those 3 minutes in the third quarter.
Exactly, the Wemby show. I mean, it was always good today. In fact, it was always really good today. But it went to a whole different level for about 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes in that third quarter. When we saw everything that Victor Wembanyama can do on the basketball floor.
Malachi Branham with the triple. Going to wait for Branham. Ohio State wins the national championship. And Branham has the trash talk with Blake Wesley, his teammate on the floor now. Went to Notre Dame. Both guys in their third year in the NBA. Wesley 14, Branham 22 for the Spurs. Top of the catch and a gentle layup for Obi Toppin. Getting good first half with 3 threes, but not much since the break, and now with 13 today. And the whistle Furphy for reaching into the backcourt for Indiana. Team foul number 3. Or make it 2, excuse me. Now, defense is the name of the game for Indiana in terms of what they need to do better.
Well, they have, though. I mean, and they've proven it. That's why it's very much a surprise, I'm sure, to Pacer fans, to the coaching staff, even, the Pacer team.
There's Branham spinning it to Furphy. Wesley the entry, and Collins over the shoulder with the leg.
39 assists.
Final 135 in Paris. With the game coming up Saturday. Marlo Kelishvili with the foul against Bryant. That's his first. And the third on San Antonio, their first in the final 2 minutes. Wembanyama with 30 points, 11 rebounds. Again, playmaking was really what stole the show.
Yeah, everything. The fact that he combined everything, right?
For one, yeah.
Yeah, it was like he'd make a 3, then he'd block a shot and make a pass, then he'd put it off the backboard. The variety of, you got to witness everything that Wemby can do.
Collins, look out. I'll give it back to Indiana.
I mean, it was evident all game long, everything that he could do. He's having a very good game, but again, he went on a flurry at the end of the third quarter that I have not witnessed as far as the completeness of that type of performance.
Babu with the start of tic-tac-toe for the Spurs.
Continuing to pass the ball the Spurs way.
And Marlo Kelishvili with 6 points. Saved in bounds by two-way player Ray J. Dennis in the game for Indiana. And knocked away from behind by Wesley. Here's Sissoko for 2. The Frenchman getting some runs here. That's got to feel great as Shepherd misses. And the Spurs can use up a little bit of time down the stretch. Well, it's technically the Pacers' home game, but you knew this will be a plus-Spurs crowd with Wembanyama and the Parker connection too.
Absolutely, and it really, I mean, it ends up being a decisive, a blowout for the Spurs. But throughout this game, it was tightly contested to the end of the third quarter. And again, where the Victor Wembanyama took over at an incredible level in all the different areas. But it was an entertaining, close game. But the Spurs, man, this all-around play was very, very impressive.
The Spurs win in Paris by a final of 140-110 over Indiana and take the first of 2 Paris games. The second meeting coming up Saturday. In Paris, Victor Wembanyama, the star of the show with 30 points, 11 rebounds, 5 blocks, and the 6 assists. The Spurs, a season best, 140 points, and they beat a red-hot team in doing so. Pacers won 8 of 9 entering this one today.
Yeah, again, it's just a terrific terrific all-around performance, dominant in so many different areas. We talk so much about the assist numbers, 43 assists in the game. This is the Spurs' way of moving the basketball. The shooting, the rebounding differential was like plus 25 by the Spurs, but really the show was this guy. Let's be honest. The people came to witness Victor Wembanyama. People are watching him in Paris to see what he can do. And it's just amazing to watch. Let's listen in.
Bon travail, les gars. You got it? You got it? You don't know no damn French. I'm educated. Bon travail, les gars. That's that Duolingo. That's that Duolingo.
Keeping Johnson on his toes.
I love it. I love it. The leadership of Chris Paul, so evident in this game, and you get to hear him on the sidelines with these younger players. A lot of fun.
I said, Wembanyama, what's up, Harry?
Yeah.
You got a standing ovation, and that kind of set the tone for this one here today. Spurs were up by 3 at the breakout score. Indiana by 27 in the second half, and victorious in this one at Core Arena in Paris in the 12th hour in Diesmont. And now 48 minutes done. We got a game coming up on Saturday.
Yeah.
Final numbers here for the Spurs.
Yeah, you almost forget how well Devin Vassell played. Harrison Barnes, his efficiency was ridiculous. Trey Jones made a very good, big difference, I thought, in the first half. He came off the bench, gave a lot of confidence to Wemby and his teammates. I am looking forward to Saturday. The Pacers have played so well lately. They've been one of the hottest teams in the NBA, playing very good basketball on both ends. I think Rick Carlisle's got his team's attention right now, and they will be ready to play on Saturday.
And one of the highlights, have some red wine for Pop, bring it home. Spurs winning 140-110. For Tim Capstraw, I'm at Cohen saying so long.